Welcome in, one and all. I'm back. I'm back. Maybe that's not the best of things, but nevertheless, I'm back. There you have it. Back from vacation and sick, but I sound worse than I actually feel. So that's the best news of the day on this. Man, I didn't bring any weather back with me. I'll tell you that right now. It was 87 to 90 and sunny and 90% humidity every damn day down in Punta Cana. And this is bleh. But I know it's going to warm up this weekend, so I'm kind of fired up for that. But good to be back. Good to have everybody back all together. The band is back together. So, and then Yelli gets a walk-off last night, the first of his career, which was big, although it was sad to see the Indiana Pacers get a win, and the fact that they and the NBA have caved on the Halliburton's father is allowed back into the building type of thing. But we've got a lot of stuff to get to. Today. So if you want to chime in, you can. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can find us by calling us. You can also hit us up by texting us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can find us by texting us, again, 608-321-1670. YouTube, you can watch us each and every day. Go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. And you can hit us up over there and always watch us and subscribe absolutely free, which is awesome because we wouldn't charge you for this stuff, let's be honest. Then you got over on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant at Wisco Grant. You can find us on all the different social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. Over there, the Bill Michaels Show. You can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And then you can track us down on the website, thebillmichaels.com. The app is WOZN, The Zone Madison. And then on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts as well. Don't forget, we are a television show, and you can watch us on Saturday nights, My 24 TV in Milwaukee. Graham Bills, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing excellent. I'm happy that you're back, Bill. I think your listeners are happy that you're back. They don't have to deal with me in Austin anymore.
I'm sure you're thrilled I'm back because I didn't mean to make you wait at work yesterday, but we got back so late on Tuesday and then got home late. And I woke up. What Kristen had a couple of weeks ago, she was getting over on the trip. And by Sunday on the trip, I had gotten sick. And I woke up yesterday. I felt okay. I didn't have a voice. It was just whatever the crud is. It was just caked in this junk. And I woke up at about 6 a.m. and thought, okay, I'll get up and I'll drink some hot tea and I'll be okay. And it just never came back. And I had a million things that I had to get done yesterday in preparation for our travels next week. So I thought, you know what? I better just take the day off. I can't talk anyway, and which was great because I did a little bit of running around and I went to pick up the RV and I went to do a couple other things. And as I was talking to a couple of people throughout the day, and it wasn't like long conversations, the voice was completely gone by last night at about 8 o'clock. So I'm here as long as the voice is here. Is the live stream shut down? The comments?
I don't know. I'm not seeing any coming in, but that just people might be a little late. I don't know.
So
I don't think I broke anything the last couple of days.
Usually our live streamers chime in right away and nothing's happening. So it was all I don't know if there was a setting or anything. I don't know if anything happened, but it looked like that, it looked like it was all allowed to kind of go through there. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
I just pulled it up on YouTube. There's comments and stuff. They're just not popping up on the live stream yet.
They're not popping up on the live stream. We can't see them
maybe
for
it takes
whatever
a
reason.
sec.
I don't know why.
There you go. Facebook looks like it's coming through. Maybe it's just YouTube that's not showing up for whatever reason.
Showing up. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. There's a couple of things that were kind of goofy when I got back that I had to take a look at. So I don't know. I don't know why. But things. I guess some things expired when I was gone, and I don't know. So I'll tell you this: down in Punta Cana, don't expect to get a ton of because you and I texted a couple of times, but it was hit or miss at best. hit or miss at best, because sometimes you had cell service and you had the ability to text and message and everything. Other times, nothing. None of my sites worked. So because you're out of the country, you're technically out of the country. So a lot of those sites that I normally would go to and I wanted to live stream and stuff would not allow me to do it. It was just really weird. And then we had one day, it was probably on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. The girl came in to clean the room, and I was waiting because, stupid me, I had locked the safe. And when you go to lock the safe, when you close it, if you type in a different number, that number becomes the number that you use to open the safe.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense. So when I went to close it, my hand hit the keypad and it went boop, and I locked myself out of my safe. So long story short, I had to call it down to the front desk and I had to wait, and hardly anybody speaks English there. So I had to wait for somebody to come up and unlock the safe. So anyway, long story short, while I was waiting, the girl that came to clean the room had come in, and she went to wipe down the nightstand next to the bed and picked my phone up and wiped under it. And when she went to put it back down, she dropped it, cracked the screen in half, and I had half a phone. Couldn't make calls. Couldn't hardly take pictures. Nothing. The screen just was completely gone. So, and she was really upset. And they're like, "Well, we'll pay for whatever the phone is." And I'm like, you know what? It was paid off. Don't worry about it. So I ended up getting a new phone. Yeah, that was another thing I had to do. Got up at 6, texted you that I was done. Went to Walgreens. Went to get a new phone. I had to get I wanted to get new brakes on the trailer. I had to go pick up the RV. My grass was up to my ass. And then obviously, as you had taken us so wonderfully, and I do use an OtterBox, by the way, Rick. It landed straight on something on the floor on the screen. There was like a pebble or something there that broke everything. And then you showed me that the raccoon had been making returns while I was gone. And so I had to
leaving deposits up there. I couldn't believe the size of the packages he was dropping off.
That raccoon's back. And I had pretty much taken down the easy climb stuff. So yesterday I started tearing the rest of it down. So I don't know what else to do. I'm going to have to get a big dog or something. I don't know. Something up there. So anyway, good to be back, even though I sound bad, but I feel a lot better than what I actually sound. So there you go. I got to admit, I didn't do much of anything yesterday. When I sat and watched, I tried to flip around and watch games. I went to bed about 8 o'clock last night. I turned the Brewers game on, and they're down 1-0 in the 8th. I'm like, as I'm sure many people were, like, this game's over. They don't come back and win games. It just doesn't happen. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is going to be another one in the books, another one where they're not going to get a win. So I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. And lo and behold, I wake up and they won that damn game. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Yelli goes, not only did Yelich drive in the tying run, which, by the way, Sal Frelick had a game. He had a game and a half last night. Not only did he drive in the tying run, but then he drove in the winning run in the grandest of fashions late in that ball game in the 10th inning. And I woke up and I was like, wow. Oh, okay. That might be, now we'll see what happens today, but that might be we kept looking for a launching point, like something to rally around with this team. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's going to be the start of something here. Maybe that's going to be like the whatever. We kept talking about you need an energy, you need a spark, you need something. Maybe that's going to be it. Maybe that's going to be the first time that this team really kind of rallies and gets it together and starts to take off. Maybe this is going to be their launching point. I woke up and I was so excited today. I had a little grocery shopping this morning, and I had to take my truck in for an appointment because I got the windows darkened a little bit. But for the first time all season, they were 0-23 going into last night's game. 0-23. And for the first time, they came back and won a ball game when they were trailing after 7 innings. So maybe that's it. That's the way I woke up today. Did you wake up optimistic, Grant? Like that was their launching point last night?
I woke up in a pretpretty good mood because that game was, I mean, you watched a good chunk of it. That game was miserable baseball. Yeah. These are two teams that offenses suck and they're making mistakes and they can't get hits at the right time. It was 1-0 through 9 and the only run was because of a wild pitch.
Yep.
This is the only run that had been scored.
And by the way, Ashby came in, couldn't throw a strike to save his life.
He's all over the place.
Oh,
I don't know how he covered 2 innings. God bless him. I don't know how he did it.
Contreras should get extra pay for that. That was embarrassing.
He's already got one broken hand. He almost broke the second on a ball that bounced right in front of the dirt. Oh man.
I thought it hit him in a junk when he took that one off the thigh. I thought, gonna lose Contreras to a junk call. Gonna lose him for a while. Like it's like the grounds crew has to come out and find his testicles. Holy man.
Bruised junk might heal faster than broken finger. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I am with you. That game was largely infuriating, but that moment at the end, you never know. You know how sports work. You get one moment, and it's really the second moment for Yelich in about a week. And after the game, Murphy kind of said again, yeah, he's finding some confidence. He's getting it going. Murphy almost trying to speak it into existence. They already won the series, which is a huge success. But if they can continue to maybe get Yelich and Contreras and those guys going a bit more, and yeah, you're right. Sal Frelick had a game, and that assist where he gunned somebody down at third, that was awesome.
That was a one-hop hose, man.
Oh, man.
That was bang, bang. And he got him by a foot. It wasn't even close. He got him by a foot. I mean, that was a hell of a toss. And it didn't even look like he really set up for that.
He didn't crow hop it. He just ripped it.
No, that was a gun. That was great. I can't wait to get Perkins and Mitchell and Yelich and Churio and everybody back in the outfield. If they can just not get beyond 7 games, they're sitting 6.5 back right now, and they've won 3 straight. The Cubs have won 3 straight, and that's a shame. But if they can just climb back into this thing, if they're back within 3 games by the All-Star break, I'll feel better. If they're 7, 8, 9 games back, they're sellers. It's not going to happen. But at least the last week has been somewhat fun to watch out of the Milwaukee Brewers. At least it's been somewhat fun to watch. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll kind of regather here. And to those that are coming over from Facebook, from the YouTube, YouTube, you can see your comments. You can't hear. I don't know what it is today. Sometimes it's just within the platform that we use, the streaming platform. I don't know. I can't tell you. But we're not going to shut it down to start it over again. So we're just going to live with it today, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. But that being said, hey, I want to remind you, a week from today, we are going to have our first ad of the season, the first of the season cigar dinner coming up. We're going to be live at Celebrations over in La Crosse coming up next. Now, next week's going to be fun. This is our first venture on the road together. I don't even know. Did you see they put us at I think it's a Holiday Inn
in Eau Claire?
No, is it a Holiday Inn Eau Claire or a Holiday Inn in La Crosse?
Oh, I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Because
I'm the wrong person to ask.
All I said was, wherever you put us, I'll give the room to you, and I'll stay in the RV. No big deal. Yeah. But you got to put us in a place where I can park the RV and turn it on and spread it out a little bit. And if they put us at the Holiday Inn over there, that Holiday Inn's tiny. It's only
you can't get that thing. We'll just put it in the parking garage, Bill. Come on.
Right. I'll just no big deal. Hey, I got to check that how tall it is thing because it's only driving a semi. But I'm like, I got to have a place that I can at least,
I think, and I'll go back through my emails. I'm king of perusing an email and then never coming back to it. I think we can set it up right in the parking lot across from the station, kind of right between there and the Charmant. There's normally room where the station vehicles are and stuff. Yeah, it'll be good.
If we can do that, wouldn't mind that. I got to tell you, I got up this morning and I thought, I'm going to go get tea today. I'm going to go get tea. I'm going to get honey. I got the whole thing for my mug here. And I got, by the way, when did tea get complicated? Can anybody answer me that?
Yeah,
I went to look for tea. All I wanted was just tea. That was it. Nothing more. I looked. It's chamomile. It's sleepy time tea. It's, something good for your colon, probiotic tea.
Bergamot.
You can't just buy tea. It's thousands of different types. It's like coffee. You can't buy just coffee anymore.
Mushroom coffee is the thing now. The thing with the mushroom particles in it.
Oh God. Yeah. So speaking of mushrooms, I got a whole thing on the beach down in Punta Cana. But so I bought an apple cinnamon spice, and then I added honey to it. I got to be honest, smells like ass. Just throwing it out there. Just complete ass. I don't know who pooped in my tea. Maybe the raccoon got here before the show, but just I was walking around the house. I'm like, what stinks? Like nothing can stink that bad. Like, did Grant take a dump somewhere and I just don't know where it's at? Like, did he take a 2-pound catfish that did a swimming upstream court plugger? I have no idea.
On the roof right outside your bedroom.
And I picked my tea up. I'm like, oh my God, it's my tea. So one of two things happened. Either the cinnamon spice didn't work or you took a poop in my mug before I got home. But it's nasty. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. I know you didn't want to hear all of that, but, these are real world problems, people. You got to understand that.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There's so many options that are available. So it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show on the air, and good to be back from vacation. Hey, I keep telling everybody the Wimi Wish Ride, WIMI, wishride.org, WimiWishRide.org. It's coming up, and if you don't know what it is, I'm here to tell you about it. It's the first annual, and it benefits Make-A-Wish Wisconsin and Make-A-Wish Michigan. It is August 9th and 10th of this year. And all you got to do is go to WIMIWishRide.org. It's a bicycle ride, not a motorcycle ride. And it is in the upper area of Wisconsin into the UP of Michigan. And it's a tremendous ride. It looks fantastic. And they've got everything going over on the website, WIMIWishRide.org. It's 200 miles round trip. So if you're a biker, if you're a bicyclist, like serious about it, this is for you. August 9th, you ride from Marinette to Kingsford, Marinette, Wisconsin to Kingsford, Michigan. And then August 10th, you ride from Kingsford back to Marinette. And they've got the whole thing mapped out. It's just going to be a really cool side road along the lake, along the waterfront type of ride. But it raises a lot of money for Make-A-Wish Wisconsin and Make-A-Wish Michigan. So again, you can go to WIMIWishRide.org and go there and find out if you're a bicycle. Spread the word. This is their first ever, and they really want to make it a big success. Again, WIMIWishRide.org, WIMIWishRide.org. So a couple of things. First of all, big night last night for the Milwaukee Brewers. Back at it again today. And if you are, by the way, on many of our affiliates, if you end up taking off today and you have to go listen to the Brewers game, make sure you tune us in on the app, WOZN, The Zone Madison, WOZN, The Zone, ZONE, The Zone Madison. Or you can watch us on YouTube, which is a great way to pay attention to the program. Go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Or you can always pay attention to us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, all those kind of places, and watch the program there as well. Grant, so what changed while I was gone between the Packers and Jaire Alexander? All of a sudden now I come back and it's like there's going to be some effort towards a reunion.
Well, it was, I think the only change was yesterday when Matt Schneidman reported kind of two things in his report that are important. The Packers approached Jaire about a restructure, which up until this point, they hadn't done. We'd expected it. We'd talked about it, but they hadn't done. And now they officially have taken that step. So that was one part of his report. And then the other part was Jaire plans to show up to offseason activities with or without a new deal.
Right.
So he's just going to keep operating. I'm under contract with the Packers. I'm going to show up. And I don't know how the Packers would feel about that. But those were kind of the two tidbits we got yesterday, that the Packers are actually maybe interested in trying to work something out with Jaire.
That's I like it. To be honest with you, I like it. It first of all, it's Jaire at least saying, "Hey, I'm available." So I mean, that's something we haven't necessarily seen any consistency of, out of Jaire Alexander, for a guy that's been unable to play. Because I saw that there was an article, and I don't know who wrote it. It's one of the Packer beat guys, and I apologize because I don't want to give somebody credit that didn't write it. But there was nothing new there other than the fact that Brian Gutekunst has said all along, we're open. And when we were down at Combine, Mike Clemens and I thought, we all thought, we were down there talking with everybody, and everybody, all the insiders and everybody are there. And we're like, yeah, Jaire's not going to be here. I mean, 99.9% sure he is not going to be around. And then when Goody spoke, I went, wait a minute. There's a different tenor to this. Like maybe they're trying to keep him. So we'll wait and see. And I think I remember at that point in time, I said, well, maybe now I'm like 80% sure he's not going to be with the team. And then as time went on, I said, well, probably back to 90% because maybe we're just waiting for June 1st to get here. You save that $17+ million, whatever. And then I get off the plane and I get home and I was coughing and hacking and I couldn't sleep and I'm scrolling. And I'm like, I read this story about Jaire and they're talking. Now, I know they haven't, it's not that difficult to figure out. The bottom line is if Jaire wants to stay, take a pay cut or some kind of an incentivized contract. The Packers are not going to bring you back for the amount of money you're making. It ain't going to happen. They can, They could if they wanted to because they've got cap space. I think they've got the 8th or 9th most cap space right now still in the NFL. So they can, but they don't want to do that. They want you to be available. So I'm thinking this is not that difficult. What is taking so long? So I'm still in the 80 to 90% that he's not going to be here because otherwise you'd get a deal done. But I'm reading more and more like there's some kind of level of optimism that he's going to return. I'll say this, if he can return and stay healthy, then it makes it a really tremendous, in my opinion, a tremendous secondary that the Packers now have. So I'm not against Jaire being here. Like some people are just like, get rid of him. And I'm like, well, why? If you don't have to and he wants to stay, why would you get rid of him? There's no reason to. When you talk about what you would have in the secondary, you'd have Jaire, you'd have Keyshawn Nixon, you'd have Nate Hobbs, you'd have Micah Robinson, you'd still have Carrington Valentine, you'd still have Kalen King at the nickel. You'd be relatively deep in your secondary. Now I say that as we sit here today with everything being on paper, but I wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't know why people are so quick to get rid of him other than the fact that they're just frustrated with him like the Packers are because he hasn't been available. But if he can stay healthy, and that's a big if, I wouldn't mind it if they can get him at a reduced rate. But I just don't know what's taking so long for any kind of a resolution. But if he wants to be there and wants to work out and wants to be a part of the team, to me, that's a good sign. That's what as a Packer fan you want. You want a guy that wants to be there.
Yes. That was reported by Matt Schneidman, and I think part of that is Jaire saying, I want to be here, as in don't cut me because I'm probably still going to make more money even on a restructure here than I would elsewhere.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think both sides for the last few weeks and months have been looking around and kind of gauging what's out there. And the Packers found very little in a trade. And I bet that Jaire's camp kind of tested the water and thought, balls, if we get cut, there's not a lot of money out there for us. There's not a big deal waiting. So I think both sides have said, look, it's probably best for us to stick together. We just have to figure out how. You know what I mean? What that contract looks like. And maybe the Packers go to him and they hit him with the Balaga or the Jordy and they're like, we want you to play for the minimum. And Jaire's like, okay, well, kiss my ass. I'm not doing that. But I think there would be a number somewhere in the middle that actually makes sense for both parties.
Right.
Which I don't think that was the case 2 months ago. I think both sides had to sniff around and ask around and figure that out, which is probably why it's taken this long. Yeah,
it's a little bizarre why it's just the only thing I can say is that it's going to be a June 1st cut. Like they're going to wait till June 1st and say, talk to you later. Come Sunday, Monday, maybe Jaire's not going to be with the team anymore. But I can't imagine the Packers hanging on to him through all the OTAs and the mandatory minicamp. So he does not have time to latch on to another team just to turn around and say, we're going to cut you. Because that would be kind of smarmy, I guess, might be the best way to put it. Why do that? If you know you're going to get rid of him, I know you're waiting to see if a trade offer comes in and you're going to get something out of him. I get that. But to me, after June 1st, if nobody's gone down with an injury and you haven't seen anybody tear up ACLs or anything like that, then go ahead and cut him loose. That way he can catch on with another team. Otherwise, unless you're going to hang on to him for that amount of money, but otherwise, got to get something done.
Well, and I know we got Steve Zautke coming up, but I think Jaire, and I'm assuming this messaging is coming through Jaire's camp because Schneidman had the PCL report last year when it kind of seemed like Jaire's camp was like, hey, just so everyone knows, he's playing with an injured knee, right? So I think some of this information is coming from his camp. I think the report of he will show up in a couple of weeks, even without a new deal, to me, that's putting pressure on the Packers to say, hey, you can't just wait this out forever.
Right. You
either need to figure out my contract or cut me because I'm going to show up on the current deal. And if I get hurt, like I have for the last 3 years, then it's on your ass. Now you're stuck with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's maybe him applying some pressure to the Packers to say, we've both looked around and waited this out, but we're getting to the point now where you guys either have to cut me loose or figure out my contract.
Well, good point. And I don't know if I'd see it because he's been working out with Xavier McKinney. I don't know if I'd see Jaire just purposefully doing that. You know what I mean? But
he's been operating like I'm under contract with the Packers. I am a Packer. I'll talk with my coaches and my teammates and do things, which in the offseason is fine. But then once you return and the team is actually practicing, like I don't think the Packers will stand for that unless they figure out his deal first. Because I don't think this is tenable, which is why they've been scouring probably every team in the league to see if anyone would take him. And no one wanted him, at least for a price that the Packers would accept.
Yeah, no doubt. Interesting stuff. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. The biggest spectacle in racing was on Sunday. The biggest spectacle in racing. I mean, they have a sports bar down there in Punta Cana at the Rio Palace. I couldn't wait. I went in there and they're like, oh, big event. And I'm like, this is great. It was some kind of soccer match. I didn't get to see any of it. I didn't see anything.
I was in Mexico during March Madness and it was the same thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn on their ESPN and it was some soccer thing.
No, it was like there was a lot of bad Spanish soap operas. There was NCIS. And then there was 47 soccer matches, and that's all I could see. And you couldn't watch it. I tried to stream it on my phone, couldn't stream it on my phone, out of the country. And by that point, I only had half a phone to begin with because the other bottom half of my screen was black. I just was like, I can't even believe this. So I didn't get to see any. And I love the Indianapolis 500. I didn't get to see any of it. I can't wait. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks? IndyCar is going to be running wild through Road America. We're going to talk with Steve Zautke about it when we come back. I got to get a little bit of an Indy fix. So I apologize if you want to talk about other stuff right now, but I got to get a little bit of an Indy fix. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Wisconsin, June 27th and 28th. Don't miss the excitement on the main stage. Friday night, it's Texas Hippie Coalition. And Saturday night, Drowning Pool. Tickets are on sale now. Want more? Follow Big River Rally on social or go to BigRiverRally.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Phil Michaels Show on the air. We're glad you are with us today. Hopefully you are enjoying your day. A little rainy, a little craptastic, but oh well, it is what it is at this point, right? It is what it is. Our buddy from the Traction Reaction podcast to wrap up the Indianapolis 500 and talk more about what's about to come roaring through Road America. Our buddy Steve Zautke from the Traction Reaction podcast and Traction Reaction Media joining us on the hotline. Steve, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, even with this dreary weather today.
So, okay, I'm sitting there in Punta Cana. It's like everything's set. I go to the sports bar and they keep talking big event. And I'm like, this is awesome. And it was some kind of soccer. They had 47 soccer matches on. No racing whatsoever. Alex Palou, he ends up getting the win, which I really wanted to see because it would have been his first win there. So I was kind of secretly rooting for him. But you had controversy. You had Penske's getting kicked out and running roughshod and running into walls and stuff early on in the race and a pace lap. I mean, what the hell happened at Indy?
A lot of stuff. A lot. Controversy as usual, but it's kind of it kind of finished out the way we thought it would with Alex Palou. Alex Palou was the favorite coming in, and on my video I posted yesterday, I said it was when you think back at it, it was very much like a Rick Mears type race of what he did. He was pretty much in the top 5 all day, just biding his time. He made a late pass. He saw an opportunity. He didn't wait too early. You know, he didn't do it too early. He didn't do it too late. It was a perfect race. Making the pass to Marcus Erickson and went on to win the race. It was just, if you wanted somebody different, like I did, of course, nothing. I love Alex Palou, but I was just looking for. I was hoping, Pato Award would win or something.
Yeah.
Somebody like that, because Palou's been dominating the season so far. And it's his first win on an oval. So, got to give him a tip of the hat for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's his first one on the oval, his first Indianapolis 500. He has dominated this year for the Chip Ganassi racing team. Honda wins yet again, which was another side note to all of this. What the hell happened to the Penske team?
Well, they're with the disqualification and that really put them on their back foot. I think they've been struggling a little bit this year, and you're thinking, okay, they'll figure it out by the time Indy comes, and then they come to Indy, and they show some speed, and then you hear about the disqualification, which is basically they did some stuff on the car they should not have done. And so they got moved to the back of the field. You got to battle all day, trying to pass cars. Newgarden finally started to get up there, but then he had issues. Just a crummy day. It's their worst Indianapolis 500 going back to 1992 when the Burke Mears and Emerson Fittipaldi actually crashed out, and then I think Paul Tracy had an engine issue. Not counting, of course, 95 when they missed a race. But it just everything went wrong for them and continued to go wrong for them. But you can't feel too sorry for them since Newgarden and the team had won 2 in a row going into the race.
1992, by the way, my first year ever covering the Indy 500, and that was the year that Emerson crashed, and he was just prior to the race down there when Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Playmates were down there. I got a chance to take a picture with everybody, and he told me, "Get your big ass off of my car." So when he crashed, I was like, okay, emo, gotcha. Okay, karma is what it is. Okay, that being said, so what I understand with the Penske team, they made modifications to their car after inspection. And once inspection's done, you can't mess with the aerodynamics of the car, correct?
Yeah, they were doing the attenuator is an item that's on the back of the car, and that's a safety item that's specifically made to absorb impact in a backwards crash. Because for years they've been fighting an issue, because the way the driver almost lays down in the car, that if you hit directly backwards into the wall, it can cause issues. So they're looking a way to absorb that issue because the back was doing it. You saw that with a lot of drivers were getting back injuries and whatnot.
Sure.
With a safety item on it, and this is across the board, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, safety items are not to be touched. They're supposed to be put on the car, and that's it. What Penske was doing, it goes on the back of the gearbox, and there's a gap there. There's a little bit of a gap and a ridge. Now, these cars, because it's a spec series, as most series are, even NASCAR to a point, even though they do have different manufacturers in there, everything, you're looking for that little bit of an advantage. When a lot of the teams, they'll actually paint the sponsors and everything on the car, clear coat it, just because they don't even want to put decals on there because of the ridge of the decal on the car. So that's how you get so anal thinking about how can we smooth this car out and everything. And as I was saying last week, the air hitting the car in the front, it's also just as important as the air leaving the car in the rear, because you want that nice smoothness. So what they did is they smoothed that gap over, which was illegal. Now, I was told by some people, and I trust these people. These are people that are kind of on the inside, that the Ganassi cars got pinched for something early in the month, and the Team Penske guys are kind of ribbing on the Ganassi guys. Yeah, you guys better be legal and all this and that. And it's been known that they were doing this to the cars. And then they finally said, "Hey, next time these cars go through inspection, go check that out."
Right.
So it's kind of a tit for tat type thing.
Right. I heard that basically Penske was told on by another crew chief that said, "Hey, you want to check those cars out after the fact," and then sure enough, there it was. So I'm sure they're not happy about all of that. Hey, I do want to talk.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, one moment, Bill. Well, here's the funny part. So the 24 winner is in the new museum. So a bunch of guys went down there, including Marshall Pruitt from Racer Magazine and the guys at the Indy Star and whatnot, and they looked, and that modification is on the winning car last year.
Really?
So they were actually doing that. Yeah, they were actually doing that last year, and they were never caught. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. So, and then you got the evidence sitting right there in the museum, that's, somebody should have went there and ripped the tape or whatever it is off of that real quick. Just say, oh, by the way, if anybody ever takes a look at this, they're going to find out what we're doing. Let's talk.
We're going to take the car out for a moment.
Let's talk about Road America, because we're on the docket coming up here in about 3 weeks, where they're going to start screaming through Elkhart Lake. Now, for what you've got, Palou, first time he's won on the oval. This is a road course. It's an undulating road course. It's a road course that these guys all love, but not a lot of opportunity to pass. Do we look for that dominance to continue at Road America?
It'll be interesting to see how the other teams, it's an ebb and flow. Andretti's been really strong on at Road America as well as McLaren. But in fact, the top 4 teams have all been pretty close. And Road America is that nice combination of not only raw horsepower because of the front straightaway and the straightaway going into turn 5, but also you have to have your car's handle and whatnot. You got tight corners. It's the best of both worlds for from a driver's standpoint. So Palou has the target on his back, and he's the guy to beat right now. So.
I'm looking forward to Road America for a couple of reasons. One, I just love going there. It's like a national park where they threw a road course in the middle of, which is fantastic. Hey, by the way, what happened to our rookie pole sitter?
Yeah, well, it's not easy. Driving, some people go, you're just driving around in circles, but it's very difficult. And the racecraft driving at Indianapolis, it takes a while. And Rick Mears talks about 1982, that classic duel with Gordon Johncock. He said, even though I had won the race a couple years before, and it was, I think, his third, or fourth or fifth race, he said, I did not have the experience that Johncock had, and Johncock was able to make moves I wasn't ready for yet. So even Rick Mears was saying it takes years in races to get that, the book of knowledge, almost like a quarterback some way. There's some quarterbacks, where they got the physical attributes, but it's knowing the game and knowing all the tricks and all that. Right. And, with Palou right now, he's 28 years old. He's at that zenith. A lot of people have always said 28 to 35 for a race car driver is when you're at your top, because you're still young enough, but you're getting that experience. And especially if you got the team behind him like he does right now, everything is just coming together for him.
Steve, great stuff as always, my friend. Appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you up there at Road America, man. We got super bikes coming to town, and then after that, all kinds of good racing coming to Road America.
I can't wait. The weather will be great, and looking forward to seeing you up there.
All right, bud. Talk to you soon. There you go. Steve Zautke from the Traction Reaction podcast, Traction Reaction Media as well, joining us and kind of recapping the Indy 500, which unfortunately, being out of the country, I didn't get a chance to see, but always great to get a chance to talk to Steve. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. Got a lot to get to. Last night, Yelli gets a walk-off because his first walk-off home run of his career was done in grand fashion. He tied the game up as well on a base knock. We've got the Packers back on the practice field. We're going to hear from coaches and assistants and all that kind of good stuff today as well. We got all kinds of things to talk about, including Terry Bradshaw. I don't know if he's ripping the Steelers or if he was ripping Aaron Rodgers. I can't really make heads or tails of it. But even Terry Bradshaw, who I know can be boisterous at times and kind of annoying, to be quite honest with you, but he had being a former Pittsburgh Steeler, he had a strong opinion on what's going on over there in the Steel City. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There's so many options that are available. So it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 5/31/2025.
Get the Road America app. You can watch and listen live. Get real-time updates on the races, driver interviews, sponsor details, and so much more. Go to roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
The Bill Michaels Show. This weekend, man, it's 2 wheels, baby. 2 wheels. Can't wait. Can't wait. Suburban Harley Davidson, they can put you on 2 wheels. Yes, they can. They are the landing spot for the Big Unit Poker Run, the 18th annual coming up this year, and which is fantastic. And I'll get more information on that coming up next week. But if you want to get out on 2 wheels, you want to get that wind therapy, you want to get that, maybe you want to trade, that's fine. Trade in. Maybe you want to buy a new one. Maybe you want to buy a used one. Maybe you want to buy your first bike. Take lessons. Get some motor clothes, whatever it happens to be. Family owned, community minded. That is our friends at Suburban Motors, Suburban Harley Davidson, Thiensville, Wisconsin. And we can't be any more glad to be working with such a great place because there's such fantastic people out there. Todd and his whole staff are just absolutely fantastic. And thanks to them for being a part of the motorcycle ride this year. And thanks for them for just basically saying, we want to be a part of it and we want to support it. We're really big into the military members, the first responders, the veterans and their families. So we want to be a big part of this. And they came right in and they're jumping all over it. Don't forget, Tuesday night, bike night out there at Wayne's Drive-In at Five Corners. That's in the Cedarburg, Grafton area. And that's all brought to you by Suburban Harley Davidson as well. So tonight doesn't look like a good night for Wednesday Night Live, by the way. Not a good night. So I got a story coming up after the top of the hour. I want to get into the Terry Bradshaw stuff. I want to get into Packer stuff. I want to get back into the Yelli stuff. But something happened on the trip. We all got to the airport. Okay. We all got down there early. And I had to be a party pooper because I had to think of something. And I want you to tell me if I did the right thing or the wrong thing. Because I was the guy that, me of all people, I showed some type of responsibility, you know? So I want you to tell me if I was right or wrong when we come back, because it's funny as hell. It really was. It was funny. It was a great idea, but I had to be the party pooper and everybody was like, you know, and I couldn't do it. I was worried about me, and I'll tell you what it was when we returned. Cause I got to admit, I laughed my ass off. I was cracking up when it happened, but I couldn't bring myself to go through with it. So I'll tell you the entire story when we come back. Okay. I promise you we'll do this. So something that everybody got together, and I didn't know anything about it. They got together, they did this trade, if you will, of t-shirts. And I had to be the party pooper in the whole thing. So I'll tell you about it when we come back. Don't go anywhere. On this craptastic day. It's good to be back. I wish it was 87 and sunny like it was down in Punta Cana, but we're going to be close to 80 this weekend, and it's going to warm up next week. So I'm fired up getting into the month. I can't believe we're in the month of June. We're already almost halfway through the year. We're going to hit the end of June, and suddenly the days are going to start getting shorter. I'm not kidding you. It sucks. But I can't wait for the warmer weather to get here. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth, Christian Yelich tied the game in the ninth with an opposite field double off of closer Aroldis Chapman and later scored on Sal Frelick's base hit. Then, in the 10th inning, Yelli would hit a grand slam for his first career walk-off, giving the Brewers a 5-1 victory over the Red Sox last night at American Family Field.
Yeah, first walk-off homer. Pretty cool. You know, it's hard to do because you got to come up in the right situation, and just something that I'd never done in my career. I got some walk-off hits and some other things, but that took me quite a while to check off walk-off homer. So it's pretty cool, big moment. And cool, that was a grand slam too.
The Brewers are now looking to complete the sweep of the Red Sox. First pitch today with Freddie Peralta on the mound is at 12:10. Turning to the Packers, they have reportedly offered a restructured contract to cornerback Jaire Alexander. The two sides have been trying to work out a resolution much of the offseason, as it appeared that Alexander's time with the Packers was done, but he reportedly wants to stay with the team and will attend the mandatory minicamp next month. Alexander has played in just 16 of a possible 37 games the past 2 years due to injury, and the Pack have now started their OTAs this week.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in Chippewa Falls. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win tickets to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
The deadline for players to pull their name out of the NBA draft is coming up tonight, and so far, Wisconsin guard John Blackwell has not done that, though he is expected to return to college. The NBA's draft will be coming up here in late June. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in to everybody on the network. It is good to be back. I apologize for the voice, a little under the weather, but I feel better than I sound. Vacation was great. Got a story for you. You can tell me if I was right or wrong in doing it. I actually was a little responsible, or at least I thought I was. Yelli gets a walk-off last night in the grandest of fashions, and the Milwaukee Brewers, for the first time this season, after trailing for 7 innings, they get themselves a win, which was great to see. Great to see. They got themselves a win, which was fantastic. So going into last night, they were 0 for 23, and they get themselves a win, which is awesome. Back at it again today. They have won 2 so far over Boston. Maybe they can get the sweep today. And maybe we were looking for something to be the jump-off point. Like, this is going to be the thing that kind of gets them going. And maybe last night's contest was it. They came back and tied the ball game up. Sal Frelick scores, who, by the way, Sal Frelick had a hell of a game last night. Yelich drives him in to tie the ball game up, and then he goes grand salami to end that ball game last night in the most epic of fashions, which was fantastic to see. I fell asleep. I thought the Brewers were going to lose the game after 7 innings. They have not been able to come back. So I was going to doze off, but I get back, and next thing you know, boom. I wake up this morning, and the Brewers get themselves a win. So it was awesome. Awesome stuff. Packers back in the practice field. They've got the OTAs going on. We got a little bit of an Indy car recap and update and a preview as we start to look forward to Road America, and the Indy car is coming here after a wild day in Indianapolis over the Memorial Day weekend. And I didn't get a chance to see any of it because they were talking about a big event down there in Punta Cana, and apparently it was 47 soccer games. So I didn't get a chance to see a damn thing. So I got back and watched some of the highlights, and that was about all she wrote. And I love the Indianapolis 500. So now I get a chance to see it up close and personal when Indy cars come racing through Road America in a few weeks, 3 weeks, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 3 weeks from this weekend, they come roaring through here.
So is it fair to assume they didn't air the Weenie 500 on Friday either?
No, they didn't do that. No. You know what did get a big run? Was the downhill cheese roll.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching videos of that. That's insane. People go flying.
I don't know who puts this on. They got to have insurance, right? I mean, they've got to have insurance. People are tumbling down the hill chasing a wheel of cheese. Now, we in Wisconsin, after the bar close time, we'll do that for free. So, but we do it on our own. It's not an organized activity.
Of course.
Chasing cheese down a hill after having a few beers, that's normal here. But that organized cheese roll, man, holy mackerel. And then the winner gets to hold up the cheese. That's your claim to fame, is you get to hold up the cheese. Here, I got cheese. Here we go. So I don't know. I don't get it. Even in Wisconsin, we look at that and go, really? So little off. But that went on this weekend. Hopefully everyone had a chance to remember what the weekend was all about. Thanks to my neighbors, I don't know who did it, but every year. Now, you were over here, what day? On Saturday, Grant? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. I almost had to remember. Yeah, we went Saturday? Downtown, so I texted you. I was like, hey, I can stop and check on the patio. It's nice and sunny
were
outside.
The flags sit out there in my yard on when you were here?
Oh, good question. I don't know. The American flag?
Yeah, because I have a flag in my yard. I have a flagpole in my yard. Mm-hmm. But I came home and late the other night, late Monday night, and I was like, did Grant put those out? And you didn't say anything to me, so I just assumed you didn't do that. But I have every year, 4th of July, Memorial Day, I put out American flags. And they're every 10 feet in my yard, and they go all the way up the front of my yard and down to my neighbor's yard. That just the whole row of flags. I came home, and they were all out. I don't know what neighbor did it. I assume maybe it was Suzanne next door. I don't know. But one of my neighbors put out all of my flags because they knew I wasn't home, which was really, really cool. So
it's a good neighborhood you live in.
Yep.
No, the flags, look, if you would have told me to check for the flags, I would have. I was more concerned. I just wanted to make sure your beer fridge in the backyard hadn't turned itself off or, gone to hell or something like that. Oh, no. And I tested a beer just to make sure, but no, it was
there anything inside that fridge that was exploded?
No.
Really? Okay. Then it withstood everything over the wintertime. That's fantastic.
And this is why I checked. I knew that you were concerned and I knew I know. It's just what I do.
I got home last night or on Monday night. And like I said, I wasn't feeling good. So I took yesterday off. But I was outside all day yesterday. I had running around to do. I had some car stuff to do. I had to go pick up meds. I had to go pick up a new phone for those that weren't listening in the first hour that are just joining us. The rooms, the housekeeping, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, housekeeping, whatever. She came in while I was sitting there and she went to wipe down the nightstand and dropped my phone, cracked it, and half my screen went dead. One half worked, the other half didn't. So I had to go get a new phone yesterday, the whole thing. So anyway, long story short, I couldn't do much of anything. And I got home and I didn't have a voice yesterday morning. So yesterday I was all day. I was out running around all day. I just had so much to get done, so many little things because you and I are on the road all next week, basically until Friday. And then the week after that, I'm on the road again because I'll be in Rothschild up near Wausau for the bar in Rothschild for one of the Quick Spirits cigar dinners. I'll be there on Tuesday. Then from there, straight over, I go to do the show Wednesday morning in Rice Lake from Turtleback. And then Wednesday night, we've got the celebrity gathering, the sponsor gathering for the Rice Lake Celebrity Golf Outing. Thursday, I'll be there for the Rice Lake Celebrity Golf Outing. Then I'll go straight from there to Road America. And then we've got a show that Friday at Road America, getting ready for the preview the next week for IndyCar. So we got all kinds of stuff going on. For 2 weeks, I'll be gone on the road. So, and then back into La Crosse at the end of the month for the Big River Rally, which I'm looking forward to. So all kinds of good stuff coming up. So anyway, my neighbors came out and put the flags out, and I thank them very much. And whoever, I think it was Suzanne, but whoever did it, you're awesome. And I appreciate you doing that for me. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a call, you can. Text us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can hit us up over on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, and / Bill Michaels Show. Absolutely freaking free. Absolutely free. YouTube.com / Bill Michaels Show. Subscribe there. We appreciate it. Twitter, X, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels, at Wisco Grant, WISCO, at Wisco Grant. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can pay attention to us there. The Bill Michaels Show. We are on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. You can watch the program. You can listen to us anywhere and everywhere on our app, which is WOZN, The Zone Madison, ZONE, The Zone Madison. And then you can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Thebillmichaels.com is the website. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts as well. And then don't forget, we're a television show on Saturdays, Saturday evenings, 8 o'clock Central Time on My 24 TV in Milwaukee. That is My 24 TV in Milwaukee. So there you go. Good stuff. I'll get to the emails and I'll get to the text messages coming up here in just a little bit. I did want to touch on the Favre documentary for a minute because before when I left, it had just dropped and I did not really have a chance to talk about it. And I got a lot of text messages, a lot of emails and such, and I do appreciate everybody chiming in on this. I'll be honest, when we did what we did, Mike Clemens and I, and the stuff that they shot here in the studio, they shot about 8 hours worth of footage. They were here for about 8 to 9 hours. They got here at 2 and they didn't go home till like 10 or 11 o'clock. I mean, it was a long time. So it was a long time that they were here. So, and Grant, I don't know how much you touched on this and if you touched on it at all, but watching the Favre documentary, and I sat down on the plane on the flight down, and I completely, with no distractions, I watched the Favre documentary. I did not realize when they came to us that it was going to be so much of Jen Sturger. That was my first reaction watching it. It was a lot of Jen Sturger and what went on there. And oh, by the way, the Mississippi welfare scandal and what's gone on there. But the way they were very honest with us about it, it was basically this. The premise of this is, if you really take it in its totality, this is a very talented kid who works with his dad on becoming a football player. He just plays with more grit and more heart and more sustainability than probably any player ever has. And he did a lot. He did a lot in his early days. He got away with a lot, right? The stories, everybody's got a story from somebody in the state of Wisconsin where Favre, Chewy, Frankie, where they were all out, they were doing their thing, and whatever that may be, and everybody knew about it, right? And yet we're all like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Which basically society and fan worship allowed them to get away with so much for so long that when serious things began to happen, where you began to step over that line, you felt as that player invincible because you've been allowed to do everything your entire career. And so did, in essence, society and the way we worship athletes specifically, or stars, does that then look what's going on with Diddy right now? Does that idolization, the money and the power, allow them to do whatever it is they want to do? And then finally, when they get caught doing something, we're all aghast. Are we as much at fault for all of that as they are? That was kind of the premise of this particular documentary. Might be the best way to put it. So some people call it a hit piece. It wasn't a hit piece. There's nothing there that's not true. A hit piece is specifically just targeting something, going after somebody just to go after somebody. This is a look at Favre growing up, Favre becoming a legend, Favre leaving Green Bay in the beginning of the end, and the downfall after being in such a small town and treated as such a god and an idol, that all of a sudden he goes somewhere else and thinks that he can just do whatever he wants to do. And there's nothing there that he didn't bring on himself. And then ultimately, how you then kind of reclaim yourself or stay in the doldrums. I mean, look at Pete Rose. Pete was never really overwhelmingly remorseful until maybe unfortunately, his dying days. So I thought it was well done. I thought they focused too much on Jen Sturger, although it was a big media event. But I did not know that piece of information from Jen Sturger was, quote, leaked out. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming Jen Sturger in any way, shape, or form. Okay? But I got a good friend of mine who's a detective, and he investigates crimes all the time. And the one thing he told me is the best way to catch a criminal is wait for the criminal to tell people what crime they committed, because humans cannot keep the secrets. The ones that do are the ones that survive. He says somebody will always say something. They'll always brag about something. They'll always, because they think they got away with it. If Jen Sturger never tells anybody what happened, this never comes out. I mean, when I'm talking about, like her relationship there with, I can't remember what the website was at the time, but if she doesn't say, Deadspin. If she doesn't ever say anything to the guys from Deadspin, this never gets out. It never happens because the Jets didn't want it to get out. Nobody else around her wanted it to get out. But if she never says anything to the guy from Deadspin, this never gets out. I'm not blaming her. I'm just simply saying if you keep that to yourself, it never gets out.
Well, I think that's the part of her story in the doc that interested me most. It's like, I didn't know. I just assumed it happened. And then she told the Jets and everyone knew and it became a thing. But she didn't tell anybody.
Right.
I didn't realize it was so much farther down the line that it actually leaked out kind of against her wishes. I didn't know the whole backstory of how it happened.
So she's still, I mean, I know she says Brett Favre ruined my life. And 95% of that is on Brett. But the 5% is you told a guy who had the power to then report it. And that's where she admits, I should have never said anything because that changed the trajectory of her career. I did not realize, though, that immediately, shame on the Jets, immediately the Jets distanced themselves from her. So yeah, it was rather interesting in hearing the way that whole thing broke down and how the Jets just wanted to distance themselves from her and not from Brett, specifically even after Brett left, because everybody knew that the New York Jets were a 1-year means to an end for Brett Favre to get to Minnesota. So anyway, I feel bad for her because of what happened, because she was in essence basically blackballed. Now, what did she do to get to that point and becoming this very in-depth journalist type of person? I don't know. I don't know. I guess you could say you've seen her work. And as a sideline reporter, you do the flashy things. And we all know, you got to be a good looker and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know to what depth her journalistic degree goes. But she was discovered by Brent Musburger on a Jumbotron because she was hot and had her boobs out. Or pushed up, let's be honest, at a Florida State game. That's how she got discovered. And then it kind of went from there because she became, back then, an internet icon, so to speak. So getting back to the Brett thing, he basically brought everything on himself. And I know he was just in town, and I know, he's still celebrated and still will be and still should be for the accomplishments that he's made as a Green Bay Packer. The thing about the welfare scam, paid the money back, but will not pay the interest, refuses to pay the interest. I don't know where that's going to end up by the time it's all said and done, but everybody else basically, admitted to criminal charges or charges or whatever the accusations were. And Brett was the only one that said, I didn't know what it was. But when you saw all that stuff come out, you're kind of like, yeah, you did. Nobody's that stupid. You kind of knew what was going on. And then they got busted. He paid the money back and he said, okay, I'm good with that. So it was the rise and the fall of Brett Favre. I thought that portion of it was extremely well done. I thought the lore of Green Bay was shown proudly, and what ultimately cultivated that climate for him to do what he did in. I think what people got a good look at was, here's Brett doing his stuff. He's got a girlfriend then and a kid at home. He's got then a wife fighting cancer, kids at home, still out doing his thing. That's where the invincibility side of things come in. But I thought overall, it was pretty good. I wish they would have filmed me now, 40 pounds lighter. I'll tell you that.
I sent you the picture that Zach sent to me, and the first thing you responded with was, crap, I was fatter back then.
Yeah, I was a lot bigger back then. I was like, God, man, I had a wiggle face. It was terrible. But I thought it was pretty well done. But I was disappointed that nothing of what Mike Clemens and I reminisced about was a part of the documentary. Because Mike and I got to get Mike over, and Mike and I need to do a podcast where we just do that again, because that was gold. That was such good stuff that Mike and I going back and forth and reminiscing and kind of remembering things and from those days. It was so cool. It was so cool. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Thanks to everybody that got a hold of me. I had people from all over the country that said hello, which was great. But I thought everybody in the piece, specifically located right here in our own backyard, was fantastic. A lot of great insight, and I really, really appreciated it. Let's do this. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Discover an unreal treasure this May at Potawatomi. Don't miss your chance to win a share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Unreal treasures this May at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Bill Michaels here. Your two wheels revved up because here it comes. The Big River Rally, where the river meets the lacrosse on June 27th and 28th. Join us for a weekend packed with action. Stunt shows, a killer bike show, food trucks, all kinds of awesome vendors. Friday, Rod's River Run, with Texas Hippie Coalition lighting up the stage that night. Then Saturday, it's the Big River Rally Ride, miles and miles of pure freedom. Then Saturday night, Drowning Pool rocks the house. Grab your tickets right now. BigRiverRally.com. That's BigRiverRally.com, and I'll see you there.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I am looking forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to make a trip up to Wausau, going to see my buddy Dwayne from Dwayne's Cover It All. And Dwayne shot me some pictures of my boat. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the job that he's done. The floor, taking care of a couple of the tears that were in the upholstery, recovering one piece in the back of the boat, new cockpit cover, new travel cover. Oh, my goodness. I am so excited. I can't wait. The job that he did, if the pictures do it justice, and I know that it's going to look better in person, It's amazing the work that he has done. Whether it's a boat cover, upholstery, awnings out in front of you, say your business, office furniture getting recovered. He shot me a picture of his warehouse right now, and they are recovering like 1,000 office chairs, redoing all these office chairs, new upholstery and new elbow rests and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, wow. And I said, well, how much does that cost as opposed to just buying new chairs? He's like, it's less than half. So if you're going to be, thinking about an office and you're going to be like, well, do I go buy new office chairs or do I just get them refurbished? Refurbishing them by far saves you money. They last just as long and you get twice the life out of them. And oh my God, the work that he has done, I can't wait. So I'm going to go up and get my boat tomorrow, because not this weekend, although I'd love to get in the water this weekend, but next weekend I got friends coming to town. There's a big fundraiser coming to town. And I want to be all ready for some friends that are going to be here, maybe take a nice boat ride up the Milwaukee River or something like that. And, go out and get dinner and stuff. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see the job that he has done. I just told him, say, whatever you need to do, just do, go and let me know what the bill is. But it's fantastic. That's Dwayne, DUANES, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. That is Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. And when I get it back, I'll show you some before and after pictures for sure, because it was just amazing what I saw. So I got all kinds of different stuff coming in on the Favre thing, but I got to ask a question here. And I know we've only got 3 minutes to the bottom of the hour because I went long in that first segment. So going on our trip, everybody had they got together. It was kind of like they wanted to pick out each other's personalities and do something. Everybody had to get a t-shirt. I did not know about this, by the way, for another person. So you got the sizes and you had to get an embarrassing t-shirt for that person, because that was what we were going to wear on the plane. Okay. I don't know if you've ever done anything like this, Grant, but so everybody had to pick out something that would embarrass the other person. Like one of them said, one of the t-shirts said, please don't make me laugh too hard. I have explosive diarrhea, which was funny. Another one said, if you whisper in my ear, I'll tell you, yes, I'm a secret lesbian, which was one of our friends, and she's married and everything. It was just a lot of funny stuff. But I got my t-shirt, and we were all going to take a picture at the airport. I got my t-shirt and I looked at it, and I'm like, now let me first explain this real quick. Of all of the friends, there was 10 of us that went. 3 of the girls that were there, and one of the guys, the 3 girls were all under 5 feet tall. They were all like 4'11 to 4'9 to 4'11. And one of the guys that went with us, his name's Dylan, he's probably all of 5'5", 5'6". He's a tiny guy too, compared to me. So the t-shirt they got me, I went into the bathroom and they said, everybody's got to change and come out. We're going to take a group photo before we get on the jetway. And everybody's cracking up. And I got to admit, when I opened my t-shirt, so you get it in a bag, and I opened it up and I looked at it and I'm like, I was cracking up. I'm in the bathroom stall at Chicago O'Hare Airport in the international terminal, cracking up because it was hilarious to me, because I get it. But then I thought, I can't wear this. It said, I heart midget porn. So me being 6'6" and standing next to all the girls and the guy, it would have been hilarious. But in today's day and age of being politically correct, I was just like, I can't do this. I can't get a picture of me standing there in a shirt that says I love midget porn. I can't do this. So was I right or wrong in not participating in the picture? Because they wanted to post it. And I thought, if I get posted like that and I'm wearing that t-shirt, somebody somewhere is going to get offended.
Yeah, you don't represent anybody or any team or anything, but we both, I think we both are thinking along the same lines of, well, it's technically not wrong.
It cracked me up. I was laughing my ass off.
It is funny.
But
someone's going to see that and not like it. Someone who matters.
Here's the thing. If this is where we were talking about this as a group, as a society, had it just said, I love porn, perfectly okay.
You'd be celebrated, championed even.
But when it said midget in there, which is now technically one of those words you're not supposed to use, that's what it said. But that was the shirt they got me, and I'm like, I can't get my picture taken in this. So And everybody's like, boo, I mean, they understood it, but it was like, I don't think I can wear this. And I wasn't necessarily even worried about my friends posting it. I was worried more about somebody on that flight, because we had some people from Wisconsin that were there. Somebody on that flight going, there's Bill Michaels. He's the guy in the documentary. Oh, by the way, look at, he's wearing a midget porn shirt. And then next thing you know, I'm being chastised all over the state of Wisconsin and far beyond the borders. So I don't know. But it was hilarious, because then everybody I'm standing there taking a picture with, I mean, they're all tiny. They're all small people. But just to have to rein it in like that, I thought, I was a little disappointed. But apparently, according to a lot of people over on the live stream, I did the right thing.
It's all fun and games until you got to wear the midget shirt on the plane.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit of an issue. Little person shirt on the plane.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're supposed to be. I don't even know if you can say little person. It was height disadvantaged or some kind of crap like that, somebody said. And I'm like, you know what? I don't get into all of that. Little people, okay. Smaller person, diminutive sized. I have no idea. I don't even know what the
dwarf.
I don't even know what the hell the right thing is to say. Oh, and
person of short stature.
Yes.
I'm just looking at Google.
I have no idea. It's just like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Everybody's so offended by so much crap out there anymore. It's not even funny. But so anyway, I did not wear the t-shirt. So I party pooped out early. So they were kind of happy though when we got there, and I paid for drinks. I paid for a round of drinks. And so then they're like, okay, we'll buy you all kinds of, disgusting shirts for $20 if you're going to buy a round of drinks every time. So I was like, okay, do that.
That's fair.
But yeah. So anyway, I threw it up, but it cracked me up, because I knew everybody standing around me. They wanted me to take a picture with everybody. I was just like, it was hilarious. People were crying when I held it up. I did hold it up real quick and looked around like I didn't want to see anybody. But so there you go. I didn't wear the midget porn shirt. Ebo would have worn the midget porn shirt proudly. Ebo would be applauded for that. Ebo can get away with that kind of stuff. I can't. I don't think I can.
Well, his show is called Over the Line. That's the whole idea. He's always pushing the envelope.
God love him. God love Ebo. All right, more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Heading out to Lake Country. I don't have any food now. Steny's wings tonight. Doing some wings and a little bit of garlic cheese bread. Gonna get a to-go order back to the house. A lot of work done tonight. But Steny's in Lake Country, they don't have wings like Steny's. They served wings every day. A little place called Pepe's down there in Punta Cana. They had wings every day. And they grilled them up, and they were good. They're kind of like a jerk chicken. But they're still not Steny's wings, man. I don't care what you say, but Steny's got the best, hands down. Steny's wings, can't wait. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are at Steny's now, as a matter of fact, probably heading over to the Brewers game today. Brewers taking on the Boston Red Sox in Game 3 of the 3-game set as they play a little bit later on today. And you got then an off day tomorrow, and then the Brewers are on the road going into Philadelphia and Cincinnati to take on the Phillies and the Reds before they come back home for a long homestand with San Diego, Atlanta, St. Louis coming up in the beginning of June. But today, a 12:10 start time for the Milwaukee Brewers, which I'm sure some of you have already cut away. But nevertheless, Steny's, man. Cannot wait to get to Steny's and get some wings tonight and just hunker down, get a lot of work done, paperwork stuff done around the house. Good friends at Steny's. Second to National Walker's Point, also running shuttles to everything, all the festivals and such during the summer months. And don't forget, they're always running shuttles to the Brewers games as well. Steny's, second to National Walker's Point, and the new one in Lake Country, which is a 1-year anniversary coming up already. Watertown Road in Pewaukee. Steny's, as they say, you should be here. 877-867-1670. It looks like everybody over on the live stream from YouTube is now back on. Whatever happened, it all of a sudden popped back on. So good to have everybody over there off of the live stream as well. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Packers back at practice, by the way. They've got the OTAs going on. They're going to do it all in the mandatory minicamp coming up here in June as well. And then they get about 3.5 weeks off before they all come back for training camp at the end of July. I can't believe we're creeping up into June already, but nevertheless, we are. That being said, we're going to hear from inside 1265 coming up in the next hour. I got a lot of different stuff to get to regarding the text line. So for those of you that have been texting, I appreciate it. Brandon, Surgeon Bay, good morning. Glad you guys made it back safe. Greg said, hey, Bill, I have guaranteed method to get rid of the raccoon issues, and it's not a gun. If you're interested, we can talk sometime. That's our buddy Greg. Greg, I might take you up on that. Cody from Cochrane, welcome back. Kudos to Grant for carrying the flag. With the upcoming schedule that the Brewers have coming up, do you think that it's a telling sign that if they will end up in the postseason wise? But I'm hopeful that the Yelli bomb last night turned things around. We said for a while, Cody, that we had been looking for something that this team needed to grapple onto, right? They needed something to kind of just give you that shot of energy. Getting 3 wins in a row, getting in the grand fashion, getting Yelli back on track, Sal Frelick having a game last night, although Ashby couldn't get the ball over the plate and allowed the only run. But, that was exciting. Like I said, I fell asleep after the 7th inning. I'm like, this game's over. They don't win games after the 7th inning when they trail. And damned if they didn't come back and win that game. For 2 things now, it's going to, 1, cause me to stay up a little bit later at night because I'm going to want to see the rest of the game. But 2, maybe that's the thing that gets this team up. 10 innings, grand slam to walk it off. First home run, first walk-off home run for Yelli. So I'm hoping. Now, baseball's a long season. You're only as good as the next day's starting pitcher, yada, yada, yada. But I'm hoping inside the clubhouse, this does something. And I'm hoping this is what gets Yelich kind of off the schneid. By the way, Grant, I don't know if you've noticed, Jackson Churio needs Joe Boo. He needs Joe Boo desperately. Hit straight ball, very good. Curveball, cannot hit curveball. Anything, they bust him up and in. You can just watch it. You're gonna get a breaking ball, busting up and in, then breaking ball low and away. Then they're gonna get a breaking ball that starts out over the plate, almost looks like it's coming right down Wisconsin Avenue, breaks down and almost into the dirt. He will swing and miss at that thing every time.
He's never seen a slider down in a way that he didn't want to swing at. Yeah, and he swings big all the time. He's just up there, just letting it rip. Yeah. And sometimes at work, like he ambushed Garrett Crochet on Monday, which was great. Yeah. But more often than not, I think Pat Murphy and lots of folks with the Brewers organization would like him to just, pull back just a bit.
Start taking some walks. Until you get a fastball or 2, start taking some walks. That might be the best thing he can possibly do if he starts working a count. Because they know he's going to go fishing. He's never seen a pitch he doesn't like to swing at. And he can hit the ball. But he's just got to figure out how to witness a curveball. And I still call it a curveball. Because now it's a swerve, it's a slider, it's a breaker, it's whatever the hell else they call it. But he can't lay off the curveball. They busted him up and in, and the minute he sees one right down the middle of the plate, he's halfway into his swing before he realizes, holy crap, it's a curveball, and I'm out. So it just, that's the only thing that I see right now that if he could fix that. But Yelli's starting to, I told you, June is when Yelich shows up. I don't know what it is. First part of the season, sucks swamp water. But June starts to get here. The weather warms up a little bit. All of a sudden, much like Puxatawny Phil coming out of the hole, there's Christian Yelich in the bat. It starts to show up. So hopefully this is the beginning of bigger and better things for Yelli and the Brewers. But good stuff. What else do we have? This is out of the 715. My neighbor took care of my raccoon problem last week. Inadvertently forgot the trap outside with red cabbage in it. Found it this morning. Let me just say, my bird suet he got into the night before did not agree with him. Glad he's been relocated. That's Tim in Chippewa Falls. Well, good for you. There you go. I got to get something to get this guy off the roof. Bill, did you get to see the Brett documentary on Netflix? Yes, we did. I wonder if Mikowski didn't get hurt and Brett sat a year or 2, do you think that he would have changed his mindset, partying, et cetera? I'll say this, Ryan and Manitowoc. I'll say this. Brett Favre was brought here to play. Had Mikowski not gotten hurt, they would have eventually worked Brett in, but Ron Wolf traded for Brett to be a starter. I think that would have been, unless Mikowski went nuts, that would have been Mikowski's last year, regardless. Ryan also says, by the way, by the environment, I mean the small town in Green Bay winning a Super Bowl after 30 years. Since the last Super Bowl, Brett is our hero and you get a pass, etc. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it says, Bill, you're definitely right. Not wearing the t-shirt, considering the fact that you're now in the Netflix documentary, people will tear you apart for that. Yeah, I know. I kind of felt like I did the right thing, but I let my friends down. But I also, it's kind of like the drug thing. When you were a kid, you had friends, everybody smoked pot or something at some point. They're kind of like, come on, man. And I always said no. I always had a reason. I'm an athlete or whatever. And the peer pressure never got to me. I felt bad as an adult, though. Kind of like I let everybody down, but I kind of thought, I don't think I can do that. Albert from Fargo, North Dakota. There was a school in North Dakota that was called the Dickinson Midgets for many years. The little people called the school to change the name, or they were going to sue. Now they're called the Mavericks. Just recently happened. What a sad world we live in. And people getting hurt about all their feelings. Why would you call yourself the Dickinson Midgets? That's what I want to know.
Early, the Northwoods up by the Michigan border went by the Midgets. I think they changed it. Yeah, 2019, just a couple years ago.
What would prompt you to call yourself the Midgets? You're supposed to get like the lions and the tigers and and all that kind of stuff. And what would prompt you to call yourself the Midgets? I mean, I can see going back to my days when I lived in Ohio, the University of Miami of Ohio, the land that institution rests upon was gifted to them by the Little Miami tribe, the Indian tribe, gave them the land for the university. So therefore they call themselves the Redskins proudly because of the land that was donated. Now they've changed the name since then. They're now the Red Hawks or something like that, but whatever. But what would were you gifted that high school by a bunch of little people? What would prompt you to call yourself the Midgets? That I have no idea. Flatsmack said, yeah, I could see the, North Dakota Giants facing the Davidson Midgets. Oh, that would be the Giants and the Midgets. Holy mackerel. But that's not, is that a fighting name?
I don't think this is not news to you. I don't think people change. My high school changed mascots in 2012.
Yeah.
I think people didn't like it at all. Nobody liked that. A lot of angry people.
I don't know.
Doesn't even matter what it is. They just don't want it to be changed.
Maybe it was a whole community of little people. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. What else do I have here? This is from Art. Art said, you look really brown in your pictures. Did you get burned at all? You said you don't burn. I got to answer your question. I don't really burn. It doesn't burn to where it hurts. I get really red. I peel a little, and then I'm done. And that's what happens. And so, but yes, if I took my shirt off, it's just stuff all over the place. So I got stuff flaking out everywhere. All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Our buddy Gerard in Delaware is on the line. We'll talk with him. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There's so many options that are available. So it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. How we looking? Good to be back. So many people to thank. But I got to be honest. Our people at Dream Vacations, Michael and Melissa, did an absolutely fantastic job herding the cats. 10 of us went to Punta Cana. All the gathering stuff was fantastic. All the stuff that they did was impeccable. We had a great time at the Rio Resort, which was awesome. We used all 3 different resorts. We had a great time with the dinners. We had everything that they sent. He even sent me, when I got to the concierge desk, they had a torch lighter waiting for me for my cigars, because you're not allowed to bring torch lighters on the plane. He even had a torch lighter waiting for me. I mean, everything was impeccable. Our friends at Dream Vacations did a masterful job. And anything we needed when we were on the trip, we just emailed them, and then instantly they got back to us. It was great. They even had a big sign, a welcome sign for us at the airport when we got up to our shuttle bus. And it was just for us. They set it up just for us. Everything was awesome. If you want to get a great vacation and a great plan started, that's our friends at Dream Vacations. Michael and Melissa, get a hold of them. 414-208-4221. 414-208-4221. I want to go, Gerard, hang on, because we're at the top of the hour. So I want to make sure that I get you on for enough time. And I've only got like 2 minutes here. So hang in there because I want to get to the top of the hour and I don't want to cut you off after a minute and a half. So anyway, that being said, I want to give you your time. By the way, I had mentioned earlier today that I thought Wednesday Night Live at the Wisconsin State Fair Park was not going to happen, but it is. It is tonight. Rebel Grace, they're going to do it tonight. Rebel Grace is going to take the stage. They just posted about an hour ago that tonight, opening night, Wednesday Night Live, Rebel Grace is going to take the stage. Doors open up at 6. Music starts at 7. So spread the word. Wednesday Night Live is actually here. And although it's kind of a craptastic day, maybe the weather breaks enough for tonight for them to get a little bit of music in. And they can fit 1,000 people underneath the roof anyway. So and it's free and open to the public. But if you want to go to Wednesday Night Live, by all means, Wednesday Night Live happening tonight out at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. So stop on in. Tonight, Rebel Grace takes the stage. Next week, June 4th, the Cheap Shots are going to be playing. But again, they've got music, they got beverages, indoor seating. So it holds like about 1,000 people. And the gates open up at 6. Goes until 10:30 tonight. Music starts at 7. Going to be a great time. Wednesday Night Live back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. So good stuff there. Coming up, we got 2 hours down. That fast. Boom. 2 hours are gone. So coming up in the next hour, I want to get to Gerard. Hang in there. Also, we're going to go to 1265 and hear from inside the walls of 1265, as a matter of fact. When you start listening to some of the coaches and stuff, you got the Packers defensive back coach talking about Jaire and all that kind of stuff. And whether or not he'll actually show up, we'll have to wait and see. But you got a lot of different things happening in Green Bay. So that's good. We'll give you some opinions there. We'll talk. I want you to hear what Terry Bradshaw had to say in regards to the Steelers. I don't know if he's ripping the Steelers or if he's ripping Rodgers or maybe both. But Terry Bradshaw, former Steelers quarterback, obviously, he did not mess around with his words about saying this is a joke. So he was pretty strong on it. So we're going to get into all of that as well. So don't go anywhere. Hang in there. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up here in the second half of the show as we approach halftime, basically. So all of that upcoming. And I got some more emails to get to. I got some more text messages to get to. So I want to get into all of that. A lot of stuff from you today, which is absolutely fantastic. So hang in there. We got 2 more hours of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are on the field for their first week of OTAs up in Green Bay. It's the first chance the group will be able to do 11-on-11 drills because they can't be in full pads, which limits the offensive and defensive lines. Much of the focus is going to be on the wide receiver group, where the team added 2 players, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, early in the draft last month. Despite the additions, Coach Matt LaFleur has liked the way the returning group is bringing the young guys along.
I do think we have a very, very competitive receiver room. It's as deep as anybody in the league, and I love how our guys go out there and compete and push each other. And it's been pretty cool to watch the veterans, although that there's a first rounder coming in the room, there's a third rounder coming in the room, just how they've embraced those guys.
Again, the Packers are in their first week of OTAs. They're going to have a couple of weeks of these and then their mandatory minicamp to close out the offseason. Players that don't attend the minicamp can be fined, though the Packers and Jaire Alexander are still working towards a resolution on his status. He is expected to attend that minicamp. More unclear for Elton Jenkins, who hasn't taken part in any of the offseason program as he looks for a new contract.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Red Sox and Brewers are closing out their 3-game series today at American Family Field. Milwaukee is looking for a sweep, which would be their first this season. The crew will get tomorrow off before heading to Philadelphia for a weekend series against the Phillies. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome in, everybody. The Bill Michaels Show. Second half coming up. Great you're on board with us. We certainly appreciate you being here. As always, great to be back from vacation. A little under the weather. I probably sound worse than I feel. But that being said, I'm glad to be back. And thanks to Grant. He did a great job while I was gone. And it was I only get a couple of vacations and maybe a sick day or two a year. And so this was one of them. I got the next one coming up in the middle of July. But nevertheless, it was good. And thanks to intern Austin. I heard intern Austin did a pretty good job, Grant.
Oh, yeah. Austin's back, and you can tell he's feeling himself already. Well, and he told me, and you'll be happy to hear this. He told me, it's like, because I worked from your studio on Friday. He said, hey, I'm looking for hours throughout the summer, and I like producing. So anytime, you want to work with Bill on a Friday, just let me know. And I'm like, oh, sure, Bill will be thrilled to hear that.
Oh,
I'm
that's
going to ask to come crash his house. Yeah, multiple times.
That's awesome. No, we can do that. By the way, did you take the backdrops down, or did they fall down?
I think I took them down. I do remember doing that, so I apologize.
No, it's no big deal. I came in and I'm like, I just see two sticks. It looked like a double Festivus.
I didn't think about
two
that.
aluminum poles. It looked like either you were kicking field goals during commercial breaks or two Festivus poles or what it was. I thought maybe you guys aired the grievances while I was gone or something.
Well, they were blocking the sun, and that's especially in the summer, such a nice part about working at your studios. There's windows.
Yeah.
And the sun comes in and there's fresh air, where in this, it's a big padded room. It's a great studio, but not exactly scenic. Let's just say that. The
problem with that is that it gets so bright in here, it screws with the lighting for the television show. And I got to block out a little bit of sun. Otherwise it gets too bright in here. So that's the reason I do that. But no, I came home. I'm like, wow, that's pretty nice. Not a bad way to go. So good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, do it. 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. That's the text line. You can watch us each and every day over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can catch us on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app under The Bill Michaels Show or an amalgamation thereof. You can watch us on YouTube and subscribe. We love it when you do. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like I had mentioned. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, the website, thebillmichaels.com. Our app to listen to us anywhere and everywhere, which, by the way, had my phone not broken, I would have been able to listen on Monday. But since my phone broke, I couldn't. But that being said, WOZN, the Zone Madison app, the Zone Madison, and then Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts after the fact. And on Saturdays, you can always watch the program in Milwaukee on My 24 Milwaukee. That is My 24 Milwaukee. So there you go. We got all kinds of stuff. We've got pressers coming up from inside 1265. We got all kinds of things coming out of Green Bay. We got Terry Bradshaw's comments on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But our guy, Gerard from Delaware, is on hold. Gerard, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Bill, I'm glad you had a good time. And, it's really good to hear your voice. And your voice sounds pretty good. So I wouldn't worry about that. And the hotel you stayed at, I stayed at the one several times in Cancun, the big one, the Rio with the hole in it.
Yep.
They're owned by 4 guys from Spain, all of them. So that's just a little stuff here. Anyway, I got a lot that I want to talk to you about. The Favre thing, number one. Now, what he did to the gal was super creepy. Okay, people do that when they're partners and stuff like that. But that was over the top. Right. I mean, that was just bizarro. But anyway, look, she's on the show about a half hour. I mean, it was so aggravating, her sitting there as the victim, which she was, no doubt about it. But she was so over the top and so devastated, Bill. She had to go pose nude in Playboy and pose in Maxim. Give me a break with these gals. You know, as you know, if you read my book, my job in South America was to interrogate women to get information on smugglers and drug dealers. So, and 99% of those women over the years were my gals. Okay. So therefore, Bill, I know women. I'm pretty good at knowing when they have the red flags in their lives and everything else and all of it. I'm not saying she is, but she was just plain dumb. And second of all, the girl that was standing next to her in the crowd was hotter than she was. But, I'm just tired of these gals. Why don't they look at the NBA, what goes on there with the scholarship stuff that those guys do, passing those gals around, and the NFL and everything else. So they decided to go after Favre. And you were great, by the way. You were articulate. You spoke slowly. You were very good. And Peter King, I thought, was good. I didn't know who the other guy was. I didn't know who that reporter was. But I thought you guys were tremendous. And as far as Favre is concerned, look, he's an athlete, high-paid athlete, big type of guys. It's wrong with what they do, but they do it. Okay?
Right.
And I don't know if they picked on him because he was conservative, because Netflix is a woke network. I don't know if they did that. I don't know what their purpose was in doing that, because we all knew all about that stuff to begin with. As far as Rodgers is concerned, I watched him on the Joe Rogan show. It was a very topical conversation. And the big thing about him, he was wearing a wedding band. And he kept flaunting his left hand, so I don't know if he wanted everybody to see it. And another thing I want to get is Jaire, and I want to get to Bradshaw first. Here's Bradshaw. I don't know where he was going with this, if he was going after Rodgers or what. But this is a guy who works with Michael Strahan, and the stunt that Strahan pulled on the aircraft carrier during the national anthem and everything. Where was Bradshaw commenting on that, huh?
Right.
Where was he? I love these guys that pick and choose everybody that they want to criticize, but they don't see here's a guy that's 3 seats away from him most of the weeks, and he didn't have the guts to go after him. And as far as Jaire goes, here's the way I look at it. He's welcome back, okay? But if he starts yelling at the other sideline, and he starts carrying on, standing over players and yelling at them, and he starts pulling this injury stuff again and everything, cut him and get rid of him, that's it. We don't need 15-yard penalties for misconduct. We don't need that nonsense when you make a good play, dancing around and carrying on. We don't need that. We need professionalism on this team. So if the coach sees that, I'm not too high on the coach, but anyway, if the coach sees that, Bill, let me tell you that he has to put his foot down and get rid of this guy. And there's one thing I want to tell you about Punta Cana. There's I don't know if you did this, but there's a glass bottom boat that goes out. And on that glass bottom boat, they have these bicycle type of things that you put the diver Dan, the big helmet on, and you go underwater and you actually jet propelled underwater deep down with these things, Bill. It's tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. And if you go back there, you have to try it.
Okay.
But I'm tired of these gals like her. She was on too much. She was too much of the victim. She should have stepped up to the plate and said that right away. That was Brett Favre that did that. And she had all these excuses. Oh, that was Brett Favre. That was this. That was that. Yeah. If a gal could come out and say the stuff she did about the President of the United States when that happened with Bill Clinton, she could have did that with Brett Favre, okay?
Yeah.
But so don't give me this nonsense. And especially when, again, I'm going to repeat myself, when she starts posing nude and going to Maximum. Give me a break with all this stuff, okay?
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
It's appreciate the phone call, Gerard. It was with all of that. I mean, you're putting yourself out there. You have to understand that there's going to be some kind of interaction. I guess I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it goes back to the whole thing of no means no, and Brett just kept coming at her. She just was. There never was in that documentary. There never was and I'd have to go back and watch it again. There never was a moment in which she texted him back to say, no, leave me alone. I saw. I mean, I could be completely wrong. But she said that no response was the loudest response of, I don't have an interest in you, so therefore you should just quit texting me. But had she, I guess, said, no, leave me alone, move on, I guess it would have just made it look worse for Brett had he continued to pursue that. But I don't know. I can't remember that. But anyway, that being said,
something that we talked about right after watching it, and it's not really the point of the doc, but because of the quote unquote business that you and I are in, I couldn't help but wonder, like, what if that would have happened in another organization? Right. Like, let's consider the 4 or the 5 best run organizations in the NFL. Would it have gone any differently? And maybe it wouldn't have, but I kind of thought throughout, like, man, this is a bad look for the Jets too, that this was allowed to happen. But then again, nobody told anybody. You know what I mean? Right. She didn't want to tell anyone. She kept it to herself, which is her right. So I'm sure that's what the Jets would say in defense of themselves. But right. I wonder how that could have gone in a different organization. Maybe, I don't know.
I would love to. I didn't hear why the Jets let her go. And that I wanted to, that was what there were some questions that I came out of that with. I'm like, she apparently did a really good job. She built a huge following. Why would the Jets let her go? Unless it was for this particular reason. Excuse me. Why did the Jets let her go? That was never answered. And that was the one thing that I thought. And when I walked away from this, I went, She ended up getting cut loose by the Jets after she had found her NFL dream job, supposedly, and being in the biggest media market there is. Why did the Jets not explain why they cut her loose? Now, again, it could have been, to do with, hiring and firing rules. Maybe there was something else there that we didn't know about. But yeah, I don't know why that was never really explained. So anyway, why did the Jets do anything? I mean, honestly, well, that's true. Across their operation from top to bottom. That's what makes it a little bit more curious. Right. You know what I mean? If you think about really, really well-run organizations, I just wonder maybe how things possibly could have gone differently. Right. They might have not, but it's something interesting to think about. Aaron says, welcome back. Hope vacation went well. I saw more life from the Brewers dugout last night after that win than I've seen all season. One of two things are going to happen now. This is either going to be the turning point and make the season worth watching, or their lack of offense is such an issue that nothing's going to be able to overcome it, even a night like last night. I'm going to be curious to see what happens with Jaire. I'm going to stick with my original prediction that he will not be back, but I don't think it's completely shocking that Green Bay offered him a contract. From the reports, it doesn't sound like Goody or maybe even LaFleur like him very much. However, the Packers have shown an ability to work with guys they don't particularly like if it gives them a clear and better chance to win a Super Bowl. Case in point, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, if your play is above the level of your likability, and that's with anybody. If your play and your level of play on the field outdoes your likability, then you're always going to have a space in that locker room for you. For sure. So I get it. But I still think the majority of me still thinks that after June 1st, this thing's going to come to a head. I said circle that a while ago. I said it like 2 weeks ago. I said circle June 1st. Because if nothing happens by then, maybe they end up cutting them loose. Because as of right now, you're thinking to yourself, why haven't you gotten a contract deal done? It's not that the Packers could not absorb Jaire's contract, because they can't. But you would figure Jaire's holding firm where he's at. The Packers, at least reportedly, have made an offer to his side to say, here you go, Take it or leave it. So now you wait and see. And put it this way, the fact that it's been reported, and I don't know 100%, but that the Packers apparently have made Jaire an offer, now maybe it's a very minuscule offer, I don't know. But the Packers know what they have in Jaire. I don't doubt that. They know that if he can play and he's healthy, he can be a hell of a corner. No doubt. The fact that they made him an offer, or at least reportedly made him an offer, that shows to me that the Packers don't just go, out, wipe my hands of you, get out of here. That they look at this and go, no, there's still hope here. It's just, we're not going to pay for hope. We're going to pay for what the reality has been and give you the ability to make more money should the hope begin to become reality. And if that then happens, you got a chance to make your money back, which if I'm Jaire, I'm like, I don't know why I wouldn't jump at that. Then again, Jaire could be looking at it as, hey, I'm going to get all this money to walk away and go find another team to play for. But I think in the long-term future for Jaire, if I'm Jaire and I really believe that the Packers are where I want to be, I don't know how much more I'd have to swallow and take, but God, I'd do what I can. I'd do what I could. I mean, if it's $10 million plus incentives, less than half of what you were going to make, but you're going to get a chance to stay. You're going to get a chance to make your money back should you perform. I'd be betting on myself. A lot of players in the NFL have bet on themselves and made a lot of money. Kirk Cousins, Darrelle Revis, those guys working on one-year contracts going, no problem. I'll hit my incentives. Here you go. I think there was only 1 year Darrelle Revis didn't hit his incentives, and that was a year he ended up with a knee injury. Still came back and played extremely well and made over $250 million in his career. Kirk Cousins is up around $300 million and has only won one playoff game. So if I'm Jaire, man, I'd bet on myself. If you feel that confident you should be paid, then bet on yourself. Otherwise, you're stealing money. Now, again, I don't know what they've offered him, so they could have offered him $5 million, and he may go, no, I'm not going to do that. But if I'm Jaire, man, I might want to bet on myself. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. Come back. We got a lot more to get to on this Wednesday, this hump day of the Bill Michaels Show. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Burn Pit, burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com, a veteran-owned business right here in the state of Wisconsin. Summer, we all know, you do a lot more grilling, a lot more rubs and sauces and stuff in the summertime than you do in the wintertime. And if you're going to get out, you're going to do grilling. The official start of summer is here. Go to Burn Pit BB. They can get it turned around to you in a couple of days. burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
So many good things when you're out of the country or out of the state that you miss. One of them, give me some quick trip. Good gosh, yesterday morning I'm running around. I made it a point to stop in and get one of their sausage and cheese and egg croissants. Just had to go do it. It's not always on the diet, but it was like, I got to go. Got a big iced tea and stopped into Quick Trip, filled up the truck and everything. But it was just great to be back home. It's kind of like you just want to lay on the floor in Quick Trip, almost like a snow angel, just go, oh, I'm back. I'm back in Wisconsin. I'm back in a Quick Trip. It was great. It was great. Great to be home. Great to be back to a Quick Trip. Stopped there this morning, as a matter of fact, or not this morning, yesterday morning, and grabbed the half gallon of milk and grabbed a couple of things in the breakfast croissant, and it's just good to be home. You know you're at home when you get the comfort of a Quick Trip. I'll tell you that right now. Terry Bradshaw, I can't tell. You tell me, is he ripping the Steelers? Is he ripping Aaron Rodgers? Is he ripping both? Or is he just saying both should just go their separate ways? Take a listen to what he had to say when he was asked about the situation right now with the Steelers waiting on a quarterback, waiting on Aaron Rodgers to finally come walking through the door. Take a listen.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man. That guy needs to stay in California and go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
He does not. I had to go over and introduce myself to him. He's not. I had to go, hey, Aaron, I'm Terry Bradshaw. I know he knows me, but I just felt like I better tell him who I am. Yeah. And not, you walk in there and you get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing. Oh, hold it. Roger, that was supposed to be something. There you go. Failure over his head. Dan Hanson, do you agree with that move that they go with Rodgers for the Steelers?
He is not a guy you would want for a neighbor. But here in Chicago, I watched him for 15 years make play after play to win football games. And from what I understand, Aaron Rodgers' agent is basically telling the league it's just a matter of time. Aaron's kind of cleaning up some personal matters. He is going to be a part of the Steelers. Now, whether you like it or not, To me, again,
I heard the same thing, Dan. I just don't want to
as a mercenary player, you could see him in Arizona or Tampa or something like that.
Well, I hope the first thing he cleans up is his damn attitude.
Yeah, Dan. Hey, Dan.
By the way, that was Dan Hampton and Terry Bradshaw on 103.7 The Buzz. So I think one was on the phone, and I think it was a live show somewhere. So that's why
and that was on the Buzz in Little Rock, Arkansas. And all of this, let me kind of take this in a helicopter view to begin with. All of this is kind of sad. It really is. That Aaron Rodgers has become kind of a punchline. Go away and chew on bark. Clean up your attitude. You wouldn't want him to be your neighbor. There is a genuine disdain for Aaron Rodgers. First of all, let me say this. Much like Favre in that particular sense, going back to the documentary, Rodgers has no one to blame but himself. And being the guy that he is and as if he's on some higher plane than the rest of the human race. But he has nobody to blame. But isn't it sad that he has become a punchline? For everything this guy has done, he's become kind of a punchline. He can be still fun. He can be still funny. He can be very smart. He can be very kind. He can be caring. But the perception has become reality that Aaron Rodgers has become a punchline. He's a 1 year, he said it in there, he's a hired mercenary who's not that damn good. And it's just like, wow. I mean, it's crazy that's where Aaron Rodgers, who was like listed as the best and the most successful and the most technically unbelievable quarterback, is, one of the greatest we've ever witnessed, to where he's become a punchline for many. Bradshaw criticizing the Steelers because they're like, this is not the Steelers' way. This is not what we do. The problem is with the Steelers, when you take a step back, they're in the same situation as the Packers are, where they're in the playoffs every year or close to it. So you're not drafting number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you're not getting the cream of the crop pick when it comes to quarterbacks. And the time to take one is when you don't need one, which the Packers have done. And they've done successful in the last 20 years. A couple of times, as a matter of fact, in the last 20 plus years. So the Steelers just didn't take advantage of that. Not that maybe that quarterback fell to them, but they didn't take advantage of it. So but I get where they're at. I get where they're at right now, because they're in a predicament. They don't have a quarterback that's sitting out there that you can just go, okay, let's go make this guy the next. So maybe they do something this coming off season to where they're able to move up and get a quarterback, and they've now got the quarterback of their future. But the fact that they've been so good in the playoffs for so many years and above 500 for so many years puts them in a predicament to where they can't climb out of that. They're on the hamster wheel right now. So they've got to find a guy. And the best guy that's out there, everybody believes to be Aaron Rodgers. That's the reason they're in this. It's business. The problem is the guy you're going after is making you look like you're now on your knees, crawling and begging him to come. And Rodgers is holding you at bay for whatever reason. Now, I've read, I did get a chance to read a little bit. I read that he got married. I read that he has cancer. I read that somebody is in an inner circle has cancer. All these different, Grant, is there any other news that came out about Aaron while I was gone?
I didn't watch the Joe Rogan thing. I saw some of the things they talked about. I'm sure it's interesting. But no, I think you got it all. I don't think they really talked about anything significant for football, and I don't think Rodgers revealed much on the podcast.
And that's the other thing. I mean, I'm glad he gets comfort in doing these podcasts with people he likes, and that's fine. But for Rodgers to always complain that people are speaking for me, and that's not what I say, and that's not what I mean. At times, it's your own fault when you don't come out and clarify. You know, if somebody in your inner circle is sick, you can say somebody in my inner circle is sick, or I'm with their family, or you can give more. But when you, in the self-entitled enigma, you leave yourself open for speculation, then he gets mad at people for speculating. Well, it's like, well, it's human nature to do that. And that's where he becomes his own worst hypocrite, because he does all of this, perpetuates the anxiety and the discussion, and then gets mad when people discuss it. So either shut up, go away, or at least give people a direction to go. But the problem is that the Steelers, they just keep kind of doing their thing, and it makes one of the more storied franchises in the NFL, the more upstanding, do it the right way franchises in the NFL, look kind of bad for chasing after this guy as their own. They didn't even draft a quarterback when they had an opportunity to this year, because it looks like they didn't want to hurt Aaron's feelings. And that's where you scratch your head and you're like, for a guy that's only going to be there a year, you're worried about whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to be mad at you? I mean, so anyway, Terry Bradshaw, like a lot of Steelers fans, I think at this point, emotionally vested into that franchise, is basically saying, you know what, let's just take it on the chin. You forget about guys like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and you know, DK Metcalf and those guys, those veterans that are in that locker room that just want to win. They want to get out and win, man. They just want guys to be there and want to win with them. Lock arms. You know, let's go. We want to win. We want to get our careers are winding down. We want a championship. Those are the guys, those veterans are the guys that you're holding hostage right now. But we all know, as we heard Andrew Filipponi say on this program, who covers the Steelers, he said, Mike Tomlin has told the guys in that locker room, Aaron Rodgers will be our quarterback. He will be here. So we know that. But you want him there. And that's the reason a lot of fans have the angst, including a guy that's emotionally vested like Terry Bradshaw, to say, stay home and eat bark. We'd rather lose without you than win with you at this point. And to me, it's a shame, because this guy was once on a pedestal that other people put him on as the best quarterback in the National Football League. Instead, he's on a pedestal that he himself places himself on at this point, and the people around him place him on. Not the rest of the world perception becoming reality. And that's the shame of it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Hey, our good friends at the Water Doctors, great stuff. They had the Kinetico system. They reinvent it every year. It continues to get better. 2025, no different. But more so than anything, there are more home constructions, more people switching over from some of the other brand name products to Kinetico water softening systems. Fantastic. And I couldn't wait to get home and actually wash my clothes, take a shower, feel good, feel actually clean getting out of the shower. That's our friends at the Water Doctors. That's what they help you with. And whether it's the drinking water for you, your pets, your kids, clean, bacteria-free, or you look at things like the laundry and like the showers and things like that, that's our friends at the Water Doctors. They keep you healthy, they keep you clean, and they continue to give back to the community, our veterans, our military members, our first responders. They are the ones that put their money where their mouth is. John and Amber Atlee, fantastic people. Call them anywhere in the state of Wisconsin and call them direct. 262-549-7733. 262-549-7733. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities ladies, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There's so many options that are available. So it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Phil Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
When we were on vacation, I did, in answering Rob's question, I did have a few cigars from down there. I brought a few back. But I tell you this, I had a great time. Hanging on the beach, cigar in one hand, margarita in the other. Although, if you ask for a blended margarita, they give you a daiquiri. I'm not a rum fan. Which, so they kept screwing that up, so I had to go back to the regular daiquiri. Anyway, bottom line was, I had a great time, a lot of good cigars, but it's just good to be back home and good to get a weekend. This weekend I'm off as far as anything going on specifically in the evening, so I'm looking forward to maybe getting out and about and visiting a few places, but heading down to the Nice Ash. I know they got some good music coming up this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, always live music down there. Friday Night Live is going to begin down in downtown Waukesha. They close down Main Street. All the vendors come out on the streets. They have music on the streets. You can just walk up and down the middle of the street and just hang out and check out everything they have to offer. And at the end of the night, stop into the Nice Ash Cigar Bar, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha, with the big walk-in humidor, the Bourbon and Whiskey Club that they have there, and live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every weekend. Always great. Stop in and say hi to the great staff and management down there at the Nice Ash Cigar Bar. There you go. Going back to the Rodgers stuff, I did want to bring this up, and this was from Andy, who said, good riddance, glad he's not our headache anymore. He can just stay away. I never want to see him again. Andy, he's going to come back, and he's going to have his number retired. He is going to go up in the Ring of Honor, and he deserves it. Look, I've been as hard on Aaron Rodgers as anybody, okay? But he deserves to be up there for what he did in Green Bay. He was a tremendous quarterback for the Packers. He was the reason that for the long time we had faith and hope every year. He was the difference maker. You know, as they started kind of whittling away at that roster, and Ted whittled that roster away. At times trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And Aaron deserves a lot of accolades. He can be, as far as a person goes, he can be a genuinely nice guy. So for what you feel about him now, once he goes away for 3 to 5 years and comes back as a Hall of Famer, that'll all be forgiven and forgotten. People forgot when Brett came into Lambeau Field and beat the Packers and was standing in the hallway outside, of the locker room as a Viking, and came back and we effing beat them and F them and all that kind of stuff. People forget about that because you're a Packer. You won the championship here. You didn't go to Minnesota and win them a championship. You won it here. You brought the title back to Titletown. That means something. So Rodgers is going to get the same respect, a lot of respect. And let's be honest, okay? What Aaron is accused of, as far as just his goofiness, versus what Brett was accused of and has done, are two vastly different things. Aaron hasn't done anything illegal. Aaron has never ended up on a police blotter. He's never ended up in any kind of a sex scandal or anything like that. He's not sending out rude photos to sideline reporters or girls or whatever. He dated some actresses. He dated a couple of famous people. He kind of cut off his family from whatever. He pooped in a 5-gallon bucket, and he's a different cat. But he's never done anything to tarnish the Green Bay Packers and or their reputation. What he did was speak up. And some people don't like that. You're supposed to be the good soldier, stand in line, shut your mouth, go win games, let us adore you. And if you do anything we don't like, then you're scum and get the hell out of here. You shouldn't be paid anymore. That's not the way it always goes. So look, he deserves everything he gets when he comes back. And I'll be right there with everybody else cheering him on because he deserves it. So for what you think about the guy and the way he leads his life, he can be a snob, he can be condescending, he can be an ass, whatever your thought is, but the guy still deserves it. He still deserves the accolades because he's earned it. I don't think he ever went out there with a non-intention of not winning or screw the organization. He always went out there to win games. May not have gotten there all the time because point A to point B is easier said than done, or maybe he wanted to do it his way, but still went out there to win. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so.
I can't wait till they bring him back. It'll be a cool night. We'll be able to celebrate.
It will be.
It was cool when Favre came back too.
Yeah. I hope Rodgers gets better weather than Favre did.
Yeah, and a better result. That game sucked. That was Thanksgiving night, right?
Yep, they got beat by the Bears.
And it was raining.
It was terrible. It was an awful game. Packers played like the weather. It just sucked. Packers played terribly in that ball game. Our buddy Steve says, happy hump day and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the well-earned time away. Grant was awesome filling in. Do you get a chance to go to the cigar factory? Steve, I did not. I did not. We went out on one excursion, which was a wonderful, wonderful day. And
you catamaran? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, we did a catamaran. And the first portion of the catamaran trip, we went to the reef. And everybody jumped in. But there was two of us, myself and one of the girls. We actually snorkeled and went out to the reef and looked at all the fish and the whole thing, and and did all that, and it was great. And then they put you back on the boat, and then you go to an area where you jump in, and it's maybe mid-chest high, and you just wade around, and there was probably 20 boats there, and all these people were in the water, and everybody's got massive stereo speakers and all the music was cranked up, and they have floating bars, and it was just a lot of fun. And then on the way back, you could see the storms rolling in, and the skies opened up. It wasn't thunder and lightning, but it was raining. I mean, hard, but it was a warm Caribbean rain, and they line danced in the rain. I mean, that was probably the best day of all. It was to be able to go out there and dance and party and laugh and giggle and have fun and party with the crew in the rain was just, that was awesome. I mean, most people don't think of it being that fun in that sense, but you're already wet. And all we did was throw all of our clothing and everything up underneath the canopy area. But it was such a great day. I posted the video. It's already got like 8,000 views over just on Facebook alone. But it was such a great day. So we had such a great time. But no, I did not get to the cigar factory. He says, nice hard fought win by the crew last night. Mr. Clutch Sal Frelick with his throw to third. That was a huge turning point in the game. That was a BB, man, right down there to Durban to throw Mayer out. Yelich with a couple of big hits last night in the Grand Slam, crushed it. Can they finally get over the hump this year and complete a sweep? OTAs are in full swing. Sounds like Jordan Love and Matthew Golden are already forming a good rapport. I think that the wide receiving core, combined with the running back game and the deep offensive line, should make for an explosive offense this year. I think that they are a bit overlooked by the NFC North, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Have a great happy hump day. That's our buddy Steve. Steve, appreciate the email. Let's do this. We'll step out, take a quick break. We'll come back. More to get to. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Big River Rally coming to La Crosse, Wisconsin, June 27th and 28th. Don't miss the excitement on the main stage Friday night. It's Texas Hippie Coalition. And Saturday night, Drowning Pool. Tickets are on sale now. Want more? Follow Big River Rally on social or go to BigRiverRally.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Bill Michaels Show, and we are brought to you by our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, a week before we went to Punta Cana, Gina Della was in Punta Cana. I think the same place, as a matter of fact. But that being said, the nice thing about when I was gone, knowing that, you know, I had people watching the house and all that kind of stuff. I get that. But you know your house is safe and secure when you lock them up. The windows, yeah, they're not opening. Not unless somebody drives a truck through the house or somebody bashes in your windows with a ball bat. There's a lot to be said about peace of mind and safety and security. And I know people don't think about it all the time, but it's kind of like looking over your shoulder. If you got windows that don't lock, you're always wondering if somebody ever kind of figures out that that window doesn't lock, or a door that doesn't close totally, or is easy to open, or doesn't lock properly. And you got to put that stick in the door. I don't have to worry about that with Pella Windows and Doors. They're always safe, always secure. The curb appeal is fantastic. The economical factor just adds to everything, the total overall experience. And the fact that you can get different lines to fit your budget, your style, and kind of your tastes, fantastic. That's our friends at Pella. Go to P-E-L-L-A, PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com, or call them direct 855 Pella WI. That's 855 Pella WI. So there you go. Hey, I know we got another hour yet to go, but anything new via the Giannis stuff, Grant, off the top of your head?
No, nothing really. I had was that yesterday? It all runs together. I had Justin Garcia on yesterday. We talked about it a little bit. They haven't met yet, despite some reports, and I had that wrong. I read some fake news apparently. But then I guess Giannis really likes Doc. So it's been reported by some that retaining Doc is part of, I guess, part of the Bucks pitch or part of their case on why they're trying to keep things the way that Giannis likes. Yeah. And after talking with Justin out a little bit, I guess I get it. I don't think Doc is this bum or this idiot that everyone makes him out to be. I still don't think he's the best coach, but I'd way rather have Giannis and Doc than, no Giannis and whatever else coach.
Right. I'm still not a Doc believer, but if Giannis is, they're going to keep him. Whatever. So something good in that. Maybe that's the reason they didn't make a move, was because Doc is Giannis's guy. So as long as Giannis, you would assume that there is happiness behind the scenes with Giannis if they kept Doc. Because if Giannis wants Doc, and maybe they thought, man, maybe Doc isn't the guy to get us there, and they still have Doc, that would then mean that they're keeping Doc to keep Giannis happy. Therefore, Giannis is going to stick around. But wasn't he supposed to have this big sit down, him and his people coming in with the Bucks, and they were all supposed to sit around a table and conference, so to speak?
An exit meeting, as some might call it. I thought it was going to happen this last week, but I guess Giannis is out of the country. I think he might be in Greece.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think the longer we go with there being no news, I think that's good for the Bucks and Bucks fans.
Yeah.
That would be my guess, at least.
Speaking of the NBA, I am stunned that they let Halliburton's dad back into an arena. If this was anybody else off the street, I mean, to me, and again, I don't promote this, but if I'm somebody that goes on the court now and wants to talk to a player and just disregard security, and they say you're banned for life, I'm finding an attorney and I'm suing the league. Because you let Halliburton's dad do it. He's back in the arena, and it wasn't even an entire postseason. It wasn't more than 10 games. He received a suspension of basically, 3-4 games as a fan? I'm stunned by that they put him back in the arenas. It's what I come to expect out of the NBA, because Adam Silver becomes less and less cojones every day. But I'm stunned that they let him back. Really am. And that's a sad state of affairs. Adam Silver, I thought, was really, really good for a long time for the NBA. I really did. But he's as ballless gets. That's a really sad state of affairs. So anyway, we got another hour yet to go. Don't go anywhere. Brewers right now trailing the Boston Red Sox 1-0, top of the third. Freddie Peralta on the hill. But beyond that, we'll keep you up to date. But thanks for hanging out with us today. Stick around. We got another hour yet to go. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers are on the field for their first week of OTAs up in Green Bay. It's the first chance the group will be able to do 11-on-11 drills because they can't be in full pads, which limits the offensive and defensive lines. Much of the focus is going to be on the wide receiver group, where the team added 2 players, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, early in the draft last month. Despite the additions, Coach Matt LaFleur has liked the way the returning group is bringing the young guys along.
I do think we have a very, very competitive receiver room. It's as deep as anybody in the league, and I love how our guys go out there and compete and push each other. And it's been pretty cool to watch the veterans, although that there's a first rounder coming in the room, there's a third rounder coming in the room, just how they've embraced those guys.
Again, the Packers are in their first week of OTAs. They're going to have a couple of weeks of these and then their mandatory minicamp to close out the offseason. Players that don't attend the minicamp can be fined, though the Packers and Jaire Alexander are still working towards a resolution on his status. He is expected to attend that minicamp. More unclear for Elton Jenkins, who hasn't taken part in any of the offseason program as he looks for a new contract.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Red Sox and Brewers are closing out their 3-game series today at American Family Field. Milwaukee is looking for a sweep, which would be their first this season. The crew will get tomorrow off before heading to Philadelphia for a weekend series against the Phillies. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back to the Bill Michaels Show. We are glad on this Wednesday you are with us. Today's kind of the rock bottom when it comes to the weather. It starts to get better. I know it's going to still rain a little bit, but it's going to start getting warmer gradually. And then by the time we get into the weekend, it's going to be nice. Next week's going to be warm. And I think as we approach June and we get to the warmer weather, we're finally going to start to see some summer. So I'm anxious. After sitting in 87 degrees and 90% humidity every day, I am anxious to get to full-blown summer. So it was great in Punta Cana. It's great to be back, but I'm anxious. This weekend, it looks like riding weekend. So hopefully I'm going to get out either on Saturday or Sunday or both and do some riding. I'm going to do some work around the house and maybe get the boat cleaned up. I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. But yeah, just really, really excited for the warmer weather. And I think we're all itching to get out, to be perfectly honest with you. If you want to chime in, you can 877-867-1670. Find us there. You can text us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. And I got to the text messages a little while ago. I want to get back into some of those coming up here in just a little bit for everybody that has chimed in. So we'll go to all of that. Also, if you want to find us on YouTube, go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can hit us up on Twitter @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant @Wisco Grant. Solo shot, Jake Bowers, baby. Two. Brewers are tied up at 1 apiece. There you go. Anyway, you can find us on Twitter, on X, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok under the The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on Twitch, Kick, and LinkedIn apps. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, simply thebillmichaels.com. You can find us over on the app to listen to us anywhere and everywhere, which is our great app out of Madison, Wisconsin, The Zone, Z-O-N-E, The Zone Madison. And then you can find us after the fact on Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We are a TV show as well. And that is My 24 TV in Milwaukee. That is My 24 TV in Milwaukee. So there you go. Good stuff. By the way, going back to the midget discussion a little bit earlier, Grant, Eric in Hudson said that the Hurley High School was called the Midgets because back then you had to be a shorter person to be able to go and work in the local mines. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently that's the reason behind the midget nickname.
I suppose that's as good a reason as any. I feel like that's got to be it. Because I don't think, the Iron Range over in Minnesota, I would assume that extends over to northern Wisconsin.
Ore or something like that is what they're digging up. Yeah,
that would track. I still don't know that I would want that to be my rallying cry and my mascot. But at least there's a reason behind it.
It says on, if you Google it, it says Hurley High School in Wisconsin used to be called the Midgets due to a nickname that was given to their basketball team by a sports writer back in 1930.
The true golden age of sports writing, it sounds like.
Because the team's tallest player was 5'10". The name became the school's mascot, and it was that way until 2019 when the school board decided to change it to the North Stars due to the association with derogatory terms for people with dwarfism. There you go.
Sounds like being short-statured back in those days meant you had gainful employment.
I guess.
Up in that neck of the woods wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, it's iron ore. That makes sense because that goes all the way over to Minnesota and then into Michigan too.
All right. I guess. There you go.
Learn something new every day on this program.
Yeah, we're always here to learn. Out of the 715, he said, on the topic of the Favre documentary, what was the purpose of Michael Vick? Two things. Michael Vick was from the South. So he talked about being a massive star in the South. And then obviously, he's had the downfall from grace as well. It was a little bizarre, but I got the correlation in that. Eric in Green Bay says, I don't like how you think we're going to be fine with Jaire. The fact is we are better with him than without him. I think if we go into the seasons with Nixon as your CB1, we don't have a winning season. He said, I don't like how you think we're going to be fine with Jaire, unless you meant
I assume he means without.
Yeah. I never said you're going to be fine without him.
They were fine without him last year, though. Yeah, secondary was hardly the biggest issue.
That's just it. I mean, he didn't play from mid-October on. So I don't know how you can say, I think they're better with him. Will they be fine without him? Yeah, they'll survive. And by the way, Nate Hobbs is a hitter. Jaire's not a hitter. But I think you're better and you're deeper with Jaire back there. That I'll agree. Because you'll have Jaire, Carrington Valentine, Micah Robinson's the new guy, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and don't forget they used Javon Bullard back there as well.
That's another thing. They have such a deep safety group that gives them some flexibility to give a little extra help or to play things differently. Because they have so many different safeties, including Bullard, who played a lot as a slot corner last year. Right. And I think that's the spot they still like him.
So I'm kind of like, I never said they're better without him or anything like that, but I think they'd be okay without him because they were okay last year.
And they added Hobbs since last year.
Right.
So they were fine without him last year. Fine does not mean amazing, but they were fine last year. And then they added a really solid veteran. So they're last year plus a little extra. And I think this year they would be better equipped to keep Jaire. And if Jaire gets hurt, it's not going to affect him as much this year as it maybe would have last year.
Correct. Ryan Manitowoc says, I'm a Steelers fan, and I think if Rodgers signs, he better be having one hell of a year, because if he tanks, Steelers fans are going to riot. Rodgers looks like an arrogant athlete who thinks everybody owes him the world. Perception becoming reality, he says in parentheses. And the Steelers look like a pathetic franchise, not a 6-time Super Bowl historic franchise. I predict if they struggle, there will be a dissension in that locker room. And I think Tomlin will be on the hot seat if this doesn't go right. Bill, glad you had a good vacation. Welcome back. And that's the one thing I did not say. And you kind of stole that thunder, Ryan. You're right. With everything that's going on, and I would assume at some point you'll get an opening of the door to find out more information about what's happened behind the scenes to keep Aaron Rodgers away from any OTAs and minicamps. But if he doesn't come out and set the world on fire as a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback, they will very quickly revolt. You can almost hear the boos raining down as Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers run off the field at, say, a halftime, arm in arm. And that fan base will become very unhappy. And again, it goes back to, and this is, excuse me, this is from Jay, who said, you said Aaron Rodgers is hypocritical. Give me an example. I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, I don't know if you're a Rodgers fan or not, Jay, but by the way, Jay, listening to us up in Menominee. The perfect example is how important he said OTAs and minicamps were when he was with the Jets, but yet how it didn't matter and let Cobby coach him up here. And now whatever's going on, he's not there again at an OTA and a minicamp. So is it important or is it not important? It was so important that he had to be there, but yet he went to Egypt. So, and I'm not making this up. I'm not putting any kind of a spin on this. Those were his words. So that's you can point to that specifically and talk about the hypocrisy of it all. If you want to get into, remember when he made the famous quote, everything outside of the locker room is white noise. We don't pay attention to it. He's the first guy to get in arguments with guys like Ryan Clark from ESPN of things Ryan Clark said, but yet it's white noise and he doesn't listen to it.
They should take that guy's phone away, by the way. Ryan Clark's been having a really weird 2 weeks fighting about Caitlin Clark and Angel. That guy can relax just a little bit. Maybe the most striking part of that Terry Bradshaw interview or that comment was, I think there's a belief from Steelers fans that we're not the Buccaneers or the Jets where you can come in and be a hired gun for a year.
Right.
And to me, that commentary was almost separate of Aaron Rodgers. Like, forget about the person or the player Rodgers is. When did I think Terry Bradshaw's asking, when did we become a franchise that just goes guy to guy and tries to recruit and to be at the mercy of a hired gun every year? I think Steelers fans and people are just really frustrated at this revolving door since Ben Roethlisberger retired.
Yeah. And it's like I said, you're right. And that's right. But the reality is, because of where you are in the draft, you don't have that opportunity to go get that guy. And when you put it this way, if you've got a quarterback and you believe that this is your year to win, and you trade away 2 or 3 draft choices to go out and get a guy way up in the draft as a quarterback, the fans are going to revolt. They're going to say, what are you doing? Much like they said when you had Brett Favre and they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And then 3 years down the road, you're like, oh, okay, thank God we did this. So, because fans are unbelievably emotional and fickle. But I agree. Like, you shouldn't be the hired gun place to go. But right now, you don't have another choice. What else are you going to do?
Well, and again, they selected what, 20, were they 21st, 22nd? They were just before the Packers.
Right.
Jackson Dart was on the board. I understand a lot of people are out on Shooter Sanders, but it's not like they had no choices at quarterback. They could have taken one there. They eventually took the Ohio State kid. But let's not act like Derek Harmon was that can't miss guy. Right. It's like, oh, I know we need a quarterback, but Derek Harmon's on the board. Like, come on. You're never going to change the fortune of your franchise making draft picks like that.
Stephen Green Bay says Aaron and Brett are 2 different situations. With Brett, I felt like he was pushed out. Him hawing around or not, it came off like that. Aaron came off as if he wanted to leave Green Bay and Green Bay was, and then he's got the poop emoji. I was sick of Aaron. I listened to the Rogan episode with Aaron Rodgers and I started to like him more again, but the season hasn't started and his BS is still constantly being brought up here in Green Bay and on our stations. So I'm sure it can and will change as I hear as much as I would as if he still played here. Steve, like even when Brett left, Brett was still a topic of conversation. He will always be known as a Packer. Aaron will always be known as a Packer. Always, all the time. If any other Packer had that kind of high-profile stuff out there right now, you'd hear about it. Brett was a national figure. Aaron is a national figure. Both guys dictate conversations. It's funny because people say, I hate it and I won't listen to it. But yet some of the segments that we do, specifically when you're talking about a guy like Favre or Rodgers, are some of the highest rated segments we have ever had. So for everybody that doesn't want to listen to it, you certainly are. You consume it. But I get what you're saying. It's like he's not our problem anymore. I understand that.
Doesn't mean he's not a compelling story.
Correct.
You know what I mean? We can enjoy it as a hobby. We can follow the drama as a hobby instead of, oh God, what did Rodgers do? Because if Rodgers was here, Bill, and he played for the Packers, I'd have to listen to the whole Rogan thing. And we'd have to, what did he say about this? And it would be, no, we can just kind of look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing. It's kind of a funny topic for, 15 minutes worth of a 4-hour talk show, especially this time of year. We've talked about the Brewers and Jaire, but it's good drama. It's good theater. Doesn't mean you can't have a little fun with it. It's not the end of the world.
Michael says he's not at OTAs in Pitt because he's still under contract. So there's that. No, he's a free agent. The New York Jets formally released him on March 12th.
Now, if you want to say he's not obligated to be anywhere because he's not under contract with Pittsburgh, that's very fair, right? 100%. It's a little odd that it's seeming like that he's going to join later.
I guess I was reading it a little bit different. And Steve, maybe, or Michael, maybe you're right. He hasn't signed a contract, so he's not at OTAs. But the question is, what's the holdup? They're not arguing over money at this point. He could sign any day, pen to paper, any day. There's something else that's holding this up. And that's what I said. Eventually that door will open and we'll probably be privy to a little more information as to why he's stayed away or what's been going on in his inner circle or whatever at some point, I'm sure.
Isn't it that he just doesn't want to he doesn't want to go to the practices? That was what Favre was so clear about that at the end, right?
Yeah.
Like it was clear that Favre just didn't want to do the BS in the offseason. So for the most part, I'm seeing the Rodgers thing kind of similarly.
You know what's funny though about that is when Favre retired and I sat there in that, and I think you could even go back on YouTube and look up Bill Michaels and Brett Favre or something like that. There were some great stories and stuff that he told, but in that interview, Brett even said he had to work harder after he got older and had to be more engaged than when he was young.
Of course.
And that was one thing he wished he would have taken more advantage of and done more with. But Favre was there. I mean, Favre was in OTAs at minicamp in New York. He was there at all the OTAs and minicamp in Minnesota.
Yeah, you can't slack at a new job in front of your new boss. You've been with the same company for 20 years. Then you can be a little bit more judicious about coming in a couple minutes late or this or that.
If Rodgers was still in Green Bay, I would imagine it wouldn't be a big deal if he wasn't here. It would still be, hey, why isn't Aaron here? People still talk about it. But it wouldn't be as big a deal. But if you're going to a new team and you still haven't signed a contract and you're holding them you're dragging them around by their nose, that's when fans get upset. But like I said, I mean, he just, I don't know what. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's he just didn't want to show. I don't know if it's the OTAs and the minicamps and he just doesn't want to be a part of it, or he's got something going on or a combination there. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it is what it is. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. But if he wanted to be a minicamp, he could be there. He could sign a deal and be there right now. The contract is not the holdup. There's something else that's the holdup. And maybe he doesn't want to sign the contract because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want that pressure on him. Hey, he signed a contract and now he's sitting there and not showing up. But, again, you got veterans and guys like that want to win and they're ready to go. And I don't know. I guess people then begin to question your level of commitment and all that kind of stuff.
This isn't Sauce Gardner and Robert Saleh and Garrett Wilson, who've never won anything. Right. This is an organization that has a standard and they have experience, and they're not going to get starstruck and capitulate to Aaron Rodgers, which I think is what we're getting from voices like Terry Bradshaw and those involved with the Steelers organization. Right. I just think it's a difference in Jets and Steelers reacting to a player who's polarizing Aaron Rodgers in very different ways, and for good reason.
Right. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. A lot of other stuff to kind of react to. Stuff in Green Bay, as a matter of fact. We'll talk about that when we come back. Hang in there. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Potawatomi Hotel, Sportsbook, Casino, Hotel with great stuff in it. They got a little bit of everything under one roof. And Potawatomi, whether you're going down there to check out some games in the sports book or some of just the excitement, they got your treasure hunt going on right now down there too. A lot of good stuff coming out of Potawatomi. Potawatomi, go to paysbig.com. That's paysbig.com. Music upstairs in the Rock and Brews. They got a DJ thumping upstairs as well. If you're doing a little gaming, you want to do a little dancing. If you're going to go down to the sports book, you can enjoy watching all kinds of sports on the massive big screen they have down there. Or maybe just a business meeting in the morning. You go over to the Canal Street Cafe and just sit down and relax and have a breakfast and do a little business there. Plenty of things going on at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Go to paysbig.com. That is paysbig.com. That is paysbig.com. So, Grant, what's the news and notes coming out of Green Bay?
Well, nothing crazy, but some offensive alignment wrinkles, if you are interested. So Elton Jenkins isn't there. Right. We assume that he's their planned starting center. Jordan Morgan was taking snaps at right guard with the ones.
Okay.
Now, Elton Jenkins' presence or absence wouldn't necessarily affect that, right? Like if they wanted to work Jordan Morgan at left tackle, they'd be able to do that with or without Jenkins. So I think that's interesting. That's where he was playing last year before he got hurt. The lineup on the first 11 on 11, the ones left to right were Walker at left tackle, Banks at left guard, Monk at center, Ryan at right guard, and Tom at right tackle.
Okay, which is kind of normal. The only difference is that your lineup up front is different because you don't have Rasheed Walker, or you don't have Jenkins. So Banks would be there, and your
Banks Banks is written in pen at left guard.
And Jacob Monk is your 5th round draft choice from last year. He was the backup center anyway, so that kind of makes sense.
And I thought early on last year that he was going to eventually maybe take over for Josh Myers. And we've talked with Clements about this. He maybe flashed real early in the summer, and then he just kind of disappeared.
Yep.
You just didn't hear about him again.
Exactly.
And it's not like Josh Myers was some stud who was always great and always healthy. There have been opportunities to maybe take over that spot. Just haven't gotten it. But I thought Jordan Morgan at right guard was interesting because I know they want competition at left tackle. Stenovich basically said it. He did say it in his presser. But we didn't see Jordan Morgan over there today. I thought maybe we would.
Yeah, nothing on Jordan Morgan. So there you go. Interesting.
But that's about it. Some drills, some wide receivers. For some reason, Savion Williams was in a non-contact jersey. He was in a red jersey. I'm sure LaFleur will get asked about that. I can't imagine it's anything too crazy. Marshawn Lloyd was in the rehab group. I didn't know he was injured, or I didn't know what was going on with him, but he was rehabbing today.
It's probably, it's really weird. It's probably, I was going to say it's probably just because he was rehabbing all last season. So, but beyond that, because he had the appendicitis and he just never came back after that. So interesting. Yeah, we'll hear from Mike. Maybe we'll get Clemens on either tomorrow or Friday for sure. One of the two, and then we get him off for maybe a half hour. Talk a little bit about what's going on up in Green Bay. But I'm sure we're going to hear a lot coming out of 1265 tomorrow.
Yes, Mike, by the way, will be with us at 10:30 tomorrow. So to begin the show, he'll be on with us. Yep.
There you go. So Mike Clemens tomorrow morning. So we'll do a segment or two with Mike and get caught up on some of the OTA stuff. Boy, Sal Frelick with another base hit. Man, that guy is just a machine right now. Brewers down 3-1 after Freddie Peralta gave up a 2-out, 2-run base knock to put a couple other runs up. So it's 3-1 Boston right now, but nevertheless, hopefully
huge start from him. From Freddie. I know he only gave up 3 runs, but it took him 57 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. And then the Red Sox ran into an out in the 4th inning before he gave up that hit to Devers. So it's not like he didn't have plenty of chances. And this Red Sox team, it's not like there's some ball strike merchants. They're 3rd in Major League Baseball in strikeouts. So really, really disappointing. I assume he's done after 4. He was at 90-some pitches, but really disappointing effort from Freddie today.
This one's from Keith, who says, what does that do if Aaron Rodgers does come into Pittsburgh and begin to work really well with DK Metcalf in this offense? Do you think Arthur Smith then looks like a genius, and does Aaron Rodgers get another MVP, and does this put them into the Super Bowl conversation? No and no and no. No, I don't. Let me say this. If Rodgers comes in and he will, we all believe that he will, I think you still have to look at the top spot, which is Baltimore. Cincinnati, they got to figure something out with Trey Hendrickson, because he's now said, I'm not coming without a new contract, and otherwise I'll just sit. So he's been emphatic about getting a deal. Now, once you start missing paychecks, we'll have to wait and see, but he's been emphatic he will sit out. Speaking of that, Hassan Reddick, remember he sat out for a long period of time and he ends up coming back. He didn't really do much with the Jets. And then he finally gets what he wants. He gets the contract he wants. I think it's Tampa Bay. He never reported for the mini camp, the voluntary workouts. He's not even in camp, which you figure that guy would be.
I forgot he's even with the Bucs now.
Yeah. I was reading that. I'm like, are you kidding me? After he held out, bitch, whined and moaned that he wanted the money, he wanted to get paid, he wanted the contract, and he finally signs this big contract that supposed to get him the money that he wants after being completely what he considered to be lied to by Douglas, the general manager, and the New York Jets. He goes through all of that. He gets out, finally gets, get emancipated, basically, leaves the Jets, and still does not show up.
Well, and I think he's probably, these players, they got to look after themselves, so they'll hold out or use any leverage they can. And Reddick has been doing that. But also, a little bit of that is on the Jets. Right. Like, the player who refuses to show up because he wants a new deal, we'll trade for him. And then refuse to give him a new deal, and somehow that's supposed to work out. Like, you dumbasses. Like, so that's a little of Reddick, but come on, Jets.
They couldn't have screwed that up anymore. But now he's with a new team and got everything he wanted, and he still didn't show, which is interesting. I don't even know where I was going with all this. Going back to the Aaron Rodgers thing. Look, I think Baltimore is the cream of the crop. Cincinnati is probably a close second, although Cincinnati's defense is nowhere near as good as to what Baltimore's is. But Cincinnati can score with anybody. They can average 40 points a game with the 2 wide receivers they have. They bolstered their offensive line. It's just whether or not they got a run game this year going into the season. But I think if Rodgers comes in, they still have an offensive line that's not great. The run game is iffy. They went after wide receivers. They tried to bolster the offense in this offseason. And their defense is good, but not great. I still think they're probably a 3rd-place team. I just do. I mean, they picked up Robert Woods from Houston. They've got Calvin Austin. And after that, I mean, they really didn't draft a wide receiver. They picked up Caleb. What was it? Caleb. I can't remember the guy's last name. Caleb. Oh God, I can't remember his name. As a running back. So they tried to bolster the run game, but you still don't know there. He's a 3rd round draft choice. And then after that, it was mainly defense. They got Darius Slay from Philadelphia. They got their 1st round pick was Derek Harmon, the defensive end, who a lot of people wanted to see in Green Bay. But they mainly drafted defense. So maybe their defense got better. Maybe they just figured, well, if we can't outscore them, let's at least stop them and see what happens there. But I still think they're probably 3rd, even with Aaron Rodgers in the division. Now, they could battle Cincinnati for the 2nd spot and maybe find themselves in the postseason. I just don't think they're a Super Bowl favorite team by any stretch of the imagination.
And I wonder if they've built this team with a little bit of like a parachute ripcord, with the idea that, like, okay, if Rodgers shows up and this works great, awesome. But if it's not working great, we have plan B, C, and D in steps 1, 2, 3 to pivot and to position ourselves to draft our quarterback next year in a draft where there should be like a good amount of quarterbacks. Very different draft next year, everyone thinks, than last year. So I think the Steelers are probably considering 2 different lanes, and I wouldn't be shocked if they pivot quickly if Rodgers isn't working out and they're like, we got to find a way to draft our guy next year.
Right. Let's do this. We'll do a little Indianapolis 500 recap and a little Road America preview when we come back. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show on the air. We're glad you are with us today. Hopefully you are enjoying your day. A little rainy, a little craptastic, but oh well, it is what it is at this point, right? It is what it is. Our buddy from the Traction Reaction podcast to wrap up the Indianapolis 500 and talk more about what's about to come roaring through Road America. Our buddy Steve Zautke from the Traction Reaction podcast and Traction Reaction Media joining us on the hotline. Steve, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, even with this dreary weather today.
So, okay, I'm sitting there in Punta Cana. It's like everything's set. I go to the sports bar and they keep talking big event. And I'm like, this is awesome. And it was some kind of soccer. They had 47 soccer matches on, no racing whatsoever. Alex Palou, he ends up getting the win, which I really wanted to see because it would have been his first win there. So I was kind of secretly rooting for him. But you had controversy. You had Penske's getting kicked out and running roughshod and running into walls and stuff early on in the race and a pace lap. I mean, what the hell happened at Indy?
A lot of stuff, a lot. Controversy as usual, but it's kind of it kind of finished out the way we thought it would with Alex Palou. Alex Palou was the favorite coming in, and on my video I posted yesterday, I said it was when you think back at it, it was very much like a Rick Mears type race. Of what he did. He was pretty much in the top 5 all day, just biding his time. He made a late pass. He saw an opportunity. He didn't wait too early. You know, he didn't do it too early. He didn't do it too late. It was a perfect race. Making the pass to Marcus Erickson and went on to win the race. It was just, if you wanted somebody different, like I did, of course, nothing. I love Alex Palou, but I was just looking for. I was hoping, Pato O'Ward would win, or somebody like that, because Palou's been dominating the season so far. and it's his first win on an oval. So, got to give him a tip of the hat for that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's his first one on the oval, his first Indianapolis 500. He has dominated this year for the Chip Ganassi racing team. Honda wins yet again, which was another side note to all of this. What the hell happened to the Penske team?
Well, they're with the disqualification and that really put them on their back foot. I think they've been struggling a little bit this year. And you're thinking, okay, they'll figure it out by the time Indy comes, and then they come to Indy, and they show some speed, and then you hear about the disqualification, which is basically they did some stuff on the car they should not have done, and so they got moved to the back of the field. You got to battle all day, trying to pass cars. Newgarden finally started to get up there, but then he had issues. Just a crummy day. It's their worst Indianapolis 500 going back to 1992 when the Brick Mears and Emerson Fittipaldi actually crashed out, and then I think Paul Tracy had an engine issue. Not counting, of course, 95 when they missed the race. But it just everything went wrong for them and continued to go wrong for them. But you can't feel too sorry for them since Newgarden and the team had won 2 in a row going into the race.
1992, by the way, my first year ever covering the Indy 500, and that was the year that Emerson crashed, and he was just prior to the race down there when Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Playmates were down there. I got a chance to take a picture with everybody, and he told me, "Get your big ass off of my car." So when he crashed, I was like, okay, emo, gotcha. Okay, karma is what it is. Okay, that being said, so what I understand with the Penske team, they made modifications to their car after inspection. And once inspection's done, you can't mess with the aerodynamics of the car, correct?
Yeah, they were doing the attenuator is an item that's on the back of the car, and that's a safety item that's specifically made to absorb impact in a backwards crash. Because for years they've been fighting an issue, because the way the driver almost lays down in the car, that if you hit directly backwards into the wall, it can cause issues. So they're looking a way to absorb that issue because the back was doing it. You saw that with a lot of drivers were getting back injuries and whatnot. With a safety item on it, and this is across the board, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, safety items are not to be touched. They're supposed to be put on the car, and that's it. What Penske was doing, it goes on the back of the gearbox, and there's a gap there. There's a little bit of a gap and a ridge. Now, these cars, because it's a spec series, as most series are, even NASCAR to a point, even though they do have different manufacturers in there, everything, you're looking for that little bit of an advantage. When a lot of the teams, they'll actually paint the sponsors and everything on the car, clear coat it, just because they don't even want to put decals on there because of the ridge of the decal on the car. So that's how you get so anal thinking about how can we smooth this car out and everything. And as I was saying last week, the air hitting the car in the front, it's also just as important as the air leaving the car in the rear.
Right.
Because you want that nice smoothness. So what they did is they smoothed that gap over, which was illegal. Now, I was told by some people, and I trust these people. These are people that are kind of on the inside, that the Ganassi cars got pinched for something early in the month, and the Team Penske guys are kind of ribbing on the Ganassi guys. Yeah, you guys better be, legal and all this and that. And it's been known that they were doing this to the cars. And then they finally said, hey, next time these cars go through inspection, go check that out. So
right.
It was kind of a for tab type thing.
Right. I heard that basically Penske was told on by another crew chief that said, hey, you want to check those cars out after the fact. And then sure enough, there it was. So I'm sure they're not happy about all of that. Hey, I do want to talk. Go ahead.
Well, one moment, Bill. Here's the funny part. So the 24 winner is in the new museum So a bunch of guys went down there, including Marshall Pruitt from Racer Magazine and the guys at the Indy Star and whatnot, and they looked, and that modification is on the winning car last year.
Really?
So they were actually doing that. Yeah, they were actually doing that last year, and they were never caught. So
wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. So, and then you got the evidence sitting right there in the museum, which is, that's, somebody should have went there and ripped the tape or whatever it is off of that real quick. Just say, oh, by the way, if anybody ever takes a look at this, they're going to find out what we're doing.
Let's talk about take the car out for a moment.
Let's talk about Road America, because we're on the docket coming up here in about 3 weeks where they're going to start screaming through Elkhart Lake. Now, for what you've got, Palou, first time he's won on the oval, this is a road course. It's an undulating road course. It's a road course that these guys all love, but not a lot of opportunity to pass. Do we look for that dominance to continue at Road America?
It'll be interesting to see how the other teams, it's an ebb and flow. Andretti's been really strong on at Road America as well as McLaren. But in fact, the top 4 teams have all been pretty close. And Road America is that nice combination of not only raw horsepower because of the front straightaway and the straightaway going into turn 5, but also you have to have your car's handle and whatnot. You got tight corners. It's the best of both worlds for from a driver's standpoint. So Palou has the target on his back, and he's the guy to beat right now. So.
I'm looking forward to Road America for a couple of reasons. One, I just love going there. It's like a national park where they threw a road course in the middle of, which is fantastic. Hey, by the way, what happened to our rookie pole sitter?
Yeah, well, it's not easy. I mean, some people go, "Oh, you're just driving around in circles," but it's very difficult. And the racecraft driving at Indianapolis. It takes a while, and Rick Mears talks about 1982, that classic duel with Gordon Johncock. He said, I had won the race a couple years before, and it was, I think, his third, or 4th or 5th race. He said, I did not have the experience that Johncock had, and Johncock was able to make moves I wasn't ready for yet. So even Rick Mears was saying it takes years in races to get that, the book of knowledge, almost like a quarterback some way. There's some quarterbacks, where they got the physical attributes, but it's knowing the game and knowing all the tricks and all that. And, with Palou right now, he's 28 years old. He's at that zenith. A lot of people have always said 28 to 35 for a race car driver is when you're at your top, because you're still young enough, but you're getting that experience. And especially if you got the team behind him like he does right now, everything is just coming together for him.
Steve, great stuff as always, my friend. Appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you up there at Road America, man. We got Superbikes coming to town, and then after that, all kinds of good racing coming to Road America.
I can't wait. The weather will be great, and looking forward to seeing you up there.
There you go. That's our guy, Steve Zautke, Traction Reaction Podcast, joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. Thanks to him for swinging by and saying hi and kind of putting a cap on the Indianapolis 500 for me, since it was, I didn't get a chance to see it. Which is a shame. Hey, one thing that is not a shame, and that is it's midweek. And you know what that means at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. They always have something good going on. And they had a Taco Tuesday yesterday. So at Curly's today, you can, by the way, if you're looking to throw even a graduation party and you last minute, go ahead. You can still call them and grab the deck or whatever you want. But Happy Hump Day, they got the bingo starting at 7:00 tonight. 2 pairs of Brewers tickets and a Sal Frelick jersey to give away, along with some Dock Hounds tickets and such. So stop out. They've got bingo tonight, giving away some Brewers tickets tonight, a Sal Frelick jersey tonight. They've got also the fish fry and the rib combo coming up tonight. I got a pound of ribs and your choice of 2 different pieces of fish, all kinds of good stuff, and cash and prizes all over there at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill on Lakeview Boulevard out in Pewaukee. And Ryan and his staff do a great job. And that's on my to-do list as I start to make my way around that area when it comes to riding the motorcycle this weekend for sure. So I'm going to stop in at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Hopefully you do as well. Say hi to Ryan and his staff. They're great people. More of the Bill Michaels Show. We wrap it up coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels here. Your two wheels revved up because here it comes. The Big River Rally where the river meets the road. It rolls into La Crosse on June 27th and 28th. Join us for a weekend packed with action. Stunt shows, a killer bike show, food trucks, all kinds of awesome vendors. Friday, Rod's River Run with Texas Hippie Coalition lighting up the stage that night. Then Saturday is the Big River Rally Ride. Miles and miles of pure freedom. Then Saturday night, Drowning Pool rocks the house. Grab your tickets right now. BigRiverRally.com. That's BigRiverRally.com, and I'll see you there.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was really comfortable. Kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There's so many options that are available. So it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Michaels Show. A couple minutes to go before we get out of here. Brewers now down 3-2 in the top of the sixth. They're hanging around, trying to climb back into this thing. And tomorrow, as we had mentioned, coming up on the program, tomorrow on Thursday's show, Mike Clemens is going to join us for a couple of segments, and we'll talk with Mike about what's going on up in Green Bay as the Packers into the throes of the OTA now. And we'll get the update as to what's going on there. Hopefully, we're talking about a Brewers sweep. Brewers are off tomorrow. We'll recap whatever NBA news there is tonight, if anything, and whatever else happens to kind of pop up our way. So we'll have all of that for you. And who knows what else happens. I think tomorrow is supposed to be a warmer day, but it's still kind of like what it is today. Kind of cloudy and dreary and such. But we'll get you ready for the weekend and get you ready for Thursday and then into Friday as well. I did want to make a note. Yes, to those that are listening over in the western portion of the state of Wisconsin, we will be in La Crosse. It's next week. So we'll get there Monday. Tuesday, we're going to be live at Flipside Pub and Grill for the show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're going to be at Flipside, then over at the Lumberyard on a Tuesday evening. Grant's got his show. I'm going to be, I think you and I are together out throwing out the first pitch. Are we or are we?
Oh, I don't know. I'd hate to steal your spotlight. I got to do my show. I might be on the air when you do it. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But we'll both be at the ballpark for sure. And then on the second night, I'll be at Flipside, and you will then have your cigar dinner before we skip town.
So, then I'm going to have the cigar dinner on Wednesday night over at Celebrations, and I believe that is sold out. You can check. Go to quickspirits.com. KWIK, quickspirits.com and check, but I believe that's sold out. So I think I know I'm going to be there on Wednesday night. You got your show. And then after that, we are off to Eau Claire. We're going to be at Wild Ridge Golf Course. And I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to have a fun time. We've got our rooms and everything all wrapped up and scheduled and everything. Grant and I are going to be over there on Wednesday for the Junior Achievement Golf Outing. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Am I golfing? Are either one of us golfing? Do I need to bring clubs to this thing?
Maybe you and I can go in between shows and go out and hit it around a little bit.
Couple holes. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Go play a few holes if we want to do that. I'll bring the clubs. I'll throw them under the RV. Do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, will we have enough room to bring a set of golf?
Oh, God, yeah.
I could probably bring all of my belongings.
Absolutely. You can probably bring all of our clothes and, maybe a boat behind us if we could. But we'll be there on Thursday and then back here, back in the studios on Friday. But it should be a fun time. Bill and Grant's Excellent Adventure. So that's what I'm kind of stealing the title out of that from the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure show. So there you go.
I like that. It's like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, except it's Bill and Grant go to Eau Claire.
I wish we could have a White Castle out that way. It would be Bill and Grant's Stinky Adventure. It'd be fantastic.
I'd go to the back of the RV. We'd have to separate the stink, I think. There's enough space in there.
That'd be great. All right, that's going to do it. So good to be back, and hopefully I'm feeling even better, and the voice is even better tomorrow, but good to be back and to be back with you. So hang in there. We got